I was thinking, you know what? The nerves are really getting to me. I could, oh shoot, I can't molest people in the bathroom stalls. It's against the law. Fuck. And then I walked home, and here I am.
Sure.
A little bit silly, isn't it? If people are going to assault people in the bathrooms, what the hell is the fact that it's illegal to enter the bathrooms going to stop them from doing something that's already illegal in the bathrooms, regardless of who they are?
So I'm not under the assumption that making something illegal would stop it in entirety, right?
Then what is your argument?
It is illegal.
Not even stop it entirely. It won't stop it at all.
That's a matter of anecdotal opinion. We know that laws are actors of deterrent, so less people
No, we
murder.
don't. If anything,
Yes,
laws...
we do.
No, we don't. What do you mean? What are you referring to?
You don't think that laws are a deterrent?
Are laws a deterrent? They're broken.
Yes. People are scared to go to
How would you determine this? Okay, so the law against sexual assault already exists. Lav, does it deter it? You seem to be terrified of it.
Yes, but some things are not illegal that are still uncomfortable. I don't want women to go into the bathroom and see an AGP taking a photo of their penis in a mirror. That's uncomfortable. That's not illegal. How do you legislate against that?
Hang on, slow down.
Autogynephilia, I assume?
Oh, that.
Is that correct? I don't mean to put words in your mouth.
I don't think people are allowed. I don't think people are allowed in bathrooms generally to take a picture of their penis in the mirror.
It's not illegal. But certainly you would advise against it, right? So there's a social construct.
Don't expose yourself sexually in
There's
the
a social contract. So there are social contracts.
There's no social contract. It's a fiction. Don't just trust me. Left. I say this as a kindness, okay? Because I don't hate you. Just don't go down that fucking road with me. You don't want to.
I bet
you're barking up the wrong tree here.
I bet that you're right. But yeah, I certainly think, you know, when I want to jaywalk, if I know that there's going to be a policeman, or when I'm speeding, right? If I know, if Google tells me there's going to be a speed check, I'm going to slow down.
So you want policemen in the bathrooms, do you? You want them checking to see if they have a ball sack before they go to the loo?
But certainly if you are doing something inappropriate in the bathroom and then you are found to be a male and you are showing...
You'll be thankful the cop is right there watching.
No, you should be able to, like, that should be illegal. Like, whether or not it's criminal by,
Look, I don't know the specifics of this, but I'm pretty sure if you were posing nude in front of, like, the washroom sink, there would be legal recourse for people to deal with that. I'm pretty sure that'd be the case in the men's washroom. You had a guy butt naked.
Women are naked in the bathroom all the time.
In the women's washroom?
Well, we can certainly
well, hang on, slow down. I've cleaned women's washrooms. I worked at a sportsman's job before.
You worked with them? And why weren't you with them?
There are stalls.
Were you cleaning them while they were using them?
No, there are stalls.
And why is that?
Because they were the women's washroom.
Let's move it off the bathroom.
But you still went into the women's washroom, so why didn't you go in while they were in there?
I think there's more interesting...
Hold on, Wick. Is it because you didn't want to make them uncomfortable?
No, it's because...
Of a social contract.
No,
right?
actually, it's because... well, actually, no, not because of a social contract. In point of fact,
yes.
actually, no. In point of fact,
actually, yes.
No. In point of fact, if you ever worked at retail shops, for example, you would know that when you clean the washroom, you put a cone in front whether you're working in the men's or the women's, and nobody's allowed to come in while you were cleaning.
That's not true. I have been in so many bathrooms in which a female is cleaning it as I'm using it.
Okay, well then they were generous to you.
The reason why you don't, as a man, clean a woman's restroom when there are women in it is because of the social contract and you don't want to make any women uncomfortable.
What? The social contract is not about making people comfortable. What are you talking about? What do you think a social contract is?
A social contract could be for a ton of things, but certainly there is comfortability.
No, you're mistaken. Social contract has no bearing. Social contract as a notion is originated by Thomas Hobbes. It is a measure by which the governmental authorities by deriving them in some sense mechanically from the consent of the government. This is not relevant to
I want to move on to bathroom stuff. Because I think there's more interesting and fertile ground in the other sex exclusionary places that right? Sports, whether it be women's shelters, right? Whether it be those type like locker rooms in general, right? Not bathrooms specifically, but locker rooms, spas, etc. Do you think there is any value, if those are up to you, President Sunday, do you think there's any value in these things, or would you just eliminate them entirely and just make it
value in like women's shelters and stuff?
No, the sex exclusionary spaces. So, for example, the fact that we women's sports exclusively
female prisons.
Female prisons. That's another one. Do you think there's any value in having these as sex exclusionary?
Within multiple conditions.
Hello, and welcome back once again to the show. Stand by, folks, stand by. We got a big show for you today. We're going to look at a bunch of different issues, a bunch of different ideas, a bunch of different concepts, but mostly about accountability. I'm AronMSound. This is Look Up and Stand By. Just a couple minutes before the show starts, I'm just getting us ready.
Socialized or fully situated in their environments to behave correctly. This is a broader question. This doesn't actually bear on the question at all.
You created the question to be a little broader. He asked you a pretty precise question.
Well, no,
you can't answer it because when you engage with reality, it completely tears your whole makeup.
But before we get too far into that, the reason that this bears on the topic of canon, the topic specifically being what is a woman, right? Because if we are going to have sex exclusionary spaces, we should probably have some sort of way to identify who is and is not a member of that sex. And if we're going to have these spaces, if there's any value whatsoever in these spaces culturally, right, then we need to have some kind of standard, whatever they may be, right, whether it's self-ID or otherwise.
This does get to the crux. This does get to the crux of the issue a little bit. So, for example, a very, whatever you want to call it, somebody with a penis and testes who's only attracted to men is going to pose much less threat to women in a women's prison than a woman who is a sex offender and a lesbian. Yes, that seems logical to me.
So, like I said, I'm not making it.
Once again, I think the issue is with the way in which we handle people breaking the law. The issue is not with trans women and things like that. The issue is that there's a distinction between how we address people in normal life and how we handle people who are breaking the laws of the system that we already believe is productive of the types of people that inhabit it. There's a certain circularity here. This is why I say the question is a little bit irrelevant, because like the bare fact of somebody being a trans woman doesn't mean that they would even be and possessing like a penis and testes doesn't even necessarily mean that they would be remotely interested in the female-bodied people around them.
Sure. No, that's fair. Same question to you, Lav. How would you answer that?
So, obviously, you need to be female to join a women's space, to join a women's prison.
Is that a fact? Hang on, wait. Were any trans women admitted to?
I'm saying obviously.
It's a should rather than an is.
I thought you said obviously it is the case that you need to be.
Yeah, I'm saying obviously this is what I think. Obviously, I'm talking about obviously this is what I think. I'm not saying that the reality. But yeah, it is my belief that females should only be permitted. Whether you look like a fuck angel or you look like, fucking who's a tiny woman.
What if I told you what if I...
One of the topics that's
What
coming
if
up
I-
today is about accountability, about our roles and subjects and topics and behavior between people. And I would just say, before we go along, that it's about looking in the mirror. It's about hearing what we say. It's about other people. It's about more than just us. And that perceptions around us do matter. Constructive criticism does matter. Our associations,
What's it called? Do you know?
they do matter.
What's it called?
The way we feel about the world, that does matter. How we imply that
Do you know who-
into
do you know
other
what the-
people
do you
and
know
the
what-
world around us, that does matter. And that's
Do you
where
know
we're going to
anything
start
about
today.
methodology?
So before I come on, I just want you to hear a little more of this in real-time
No, I'm
debate
just curious.
going on between Lavloon and President
Thank you.
Sunday.
Wick.
Demonstrate, please.
Both whom I would consider astute
Wick is not
figures,
here
though
to
they
save
come
you
from
anymore.
different angles. And I would say one of them has a habit
He's gone to the washer.
of taking accountability for themselves while
Take some
denying
breaks.
it at the same
We-
time,
we're
and simple
unregulated.
people don't seem to understand self-deprecation or catharsis,
Uh,
or
what the fuck
false
happened with
equivalency.
That thing with.
But that's another portion of the story, because a false association equivalency is the most common form of indignant cognitive
Oh, no,
dissonance
hold on,
going on
okay,
today.
hold on.
And mostly, it's about
phone here.
accountability.
Sorry.
Stand by.
My Discord crashed.
Look
I'm
up,
coming back.
coming your way in just a moment.
No, we're here.
Um,
Alas.
I
They
find
can't
it
see us
actually
yet.
very low blow and actually very.
It is right in the balls. That's what I'm.
Asked us to not talk about this, and you're
Wait.
bringing it up.
Hold on.
I didn't do anything. Look, she's making it up. I didn't do anything.
I was literally not
Publicly
here. I
humiliate or
did.
I.
Ah,
You
yes,
can do that
accountability, the
entirely
measure of the now, the measure of the past. Ladies and gentlemen, stand by, because here
I don't.
we
I don't
fucking
like.
go.
I don't
You
like.
have blatantly,
Okay,
you have
both of
blatantly
you?
put me.
What was asked? Sunday, what did you ask her? I wasn't here for this.
About he
I-
asked me about.
I want Sunday. to go.
I asked her just out of curiosity, with her permission. I asked, "Can we speak candidly? Because you're gone. Daddy's out of the room." Why did you, just out of curiosity, why did you say that you were on kind of a pay-for-play thing with Destiny Talking Academy?
Okay, yeah.
Oh, inappropriate questions
not-
from
we're
one
not talking
acolyte.
about
Can you
this.
imagine that might be a thing?
Right.
Let me clean up the video here, and I couldn't imagine that was going to come up
We're not-
in a conversation of somebody who relies on somebody else for their. Oh my goodness! When I get too close to the camera now, here, let me adjust sit a little farther back.
Discuss it
Oh,
there.
wow, maybe it's the. Oh, I know what it is. It's this.
let's get
It's
back-
that. Oh, hi, what's happening, folks? I'm AronMSound. You're watching at Wick TV behind me.
Exclusionary.
That's Wick back there. Oh, behind my chair, right back there. Hold on a second. Let me get the magic one. Let me get my magic. I didn't tape it down today. Normally I take care of it, and my magic sheet takes care of everything, so you can see it all. So I just I'm see-through. We're still working. I got a new camera. I got some new things because I wanted to upgrade for you
doesn't have
folks.
any
That's the big
prior
deal.
history.
Anyways,
It's
hey, what's
not
happening? I'm AronMSound, and
this
this
is what-
is Lookup.
during
Today,
tax fraud,
in amongst
or
the
what have you.
accountability
Okay.
issues that go on in the world, there's also a sense of puritanical
Why
and
keep them
sociological sociopathy that is
Of a
incredible.
people. That's what they
That someone like myself, who
That's
comes
where
with
they would
complete
feel more
thoughts,
safe.
behaviors,
If it's a nonviolent
accountability,
offense, you have
self-admission,
with
a
not
background,
bringing
a history,
trans
can be
woman
called a
into
schizo
a,
amongst the groups
female
that would ignore any positive topic for the person, even though that person may be playing a fool for them just to get them to out
I've got a
themselves,
modification
which is
question.
part of the
To have a potential
issue we have in our society at large, and that's why I'm talking about this today. And that's why I'm focusing on this subject. And I see a lurker. I see a lurker because, by the way, my normal viewers are out of town right now, so they may be. A couple people on vacation. I have a couple of folks that just come pop in and out, and then a lot of folks that watch me afterwards. So if you're watching right now with me, thank you for being here. And yeah, I don't. If you've ever watched my show, I don't care about people watching here, now, then. It's not about clout to me. It's about this message that I'm concerned about because I watch the watchers and I'm part of that structure that you all talk about. I'm part of the matrix. I'm actually in real life building
Yes, we
the
make-
picture
we
for
make
you.
laws
And this
and
YouTube
rules
thing
based
and
on
my little Twitch
general-
thing, that's just fun. And actually, it's
morality
concern because
and
I'm
we
someone
don't
who
for the
takes part
exception
in
of the rule. It
the
just
perspectives
so
that you
as it
have.
stands
I'm
that
somebody who
women
builds
are
the
not
shows.
as sexually
I'm someone who
observed.
builds the
They do not
storyline. So
create-
when I start to hear folks
they do not-
be
I-
disconnected
yes, and they
to
are
my
exceptions to
large
the rule of
hands,
the exception
and by the way,
to the
I
rule.
set the scope on
Women
the
are
camera so that I can
not commit
show you how
violent
freaking huge
crimes.
my hands are. So when I'm
Violent
typing,
crimes
and
really in
and I'm
general.
typing and you see
So-
typos out there, that's because I have very large hands. Anyway,
Nice counter. Nice
but that's
counter.
the humor in the
Insane.
story.
I've been paid some money.
What's
to
going
ask
on?
this.
You were
Well, I'll tell you what,
morally
it's a lot.
I've
It's
been
a
paid
lot,
some
and I'm
money
going to
to
turn the
ask
music down a
The
little bit.
leprechaun has been given his gold.
I actually
Wow!
know your
Did you
tactic.
just
bring up
call
something really
Destiny a
personal
leprechaun?
that
That's
you're
for later.
losing.
That's for later. Come on.
Wow.
Come on. Be
Which has
nice.
got me
I've just
guilty
started.
as charged. I think I've been
So,
destroyed.
what am I talking about today?
I-
Today is about our interpersonal accountability. And this isn't just accountability for your bad actions, it's accountability for you. It's accountability for the fact that we're all fallible. That we are all, as I say constantly, caught in a system that is of our own making. It's a prison that we would imbibe ourselves with like a fucking alcohol, like smoking crack. Like some would think I have because I happen to have energy, because I care, because I'm implicitly invigorated by the angst and power that is fed to me as a lens by all of this negativity. Now, I'm not feeding off of it. I am amplifying what I see. I'm amplifying my concerns. I'm amplifying the entirety of the situation so somebody pays more attention than not. And I've been noticing that people are paying attention. So that's what's important. And as I stand up in my chair, act wild, man, you'd think, oh my God, what's really going on? Because can't you tell the difference between real and not real? Let's just start there. Do you know whether or not your favorite artist is being actually genuine, or are they playing an arc out and writing a script in the background that implies the general behaviors on camera and where the ideas should go? Do these things get out of control? Do they do exactly what the scriptwriter expects in real life when you're playing out a show that doesn't have an actual script over 10 hours a day? Well, no, it never does. So these things could possibly turn against you. These things could possibly become unlike what you'd expect them to be in the script that you decided to have in an arc. Now I'm talking a little bit around the subjects. Hey, Bridget Moten, the ultimate of all the mods. Welcome to the building. Hold on a second. Bridget definitely gets the... Oh, where's my air horn? Yeah, there it is. Hey! Have a great day at work. Thank you very much for stopping through, Bridget. I love you being here. I really appreciate you at all times. And just know, don't mess with Bridget, because she's the only mod of all my mods, and they're all mods that can mod the mods. So don't mod with her mod, because she'll mod your mod. Okay? Mod. All right, meow. Look, you may be wondering, why is this so wacky? Why is this so wild? Well, first off, if you can't have a little bit of mirth, and you can't add a little bit of happiness, and you can't have a little bit of joy, you can't admit that you're fallible. Now I'm just going to pose that, because you can't just have a good time and see how silly we are, or feel silly. I mean, and half the time I think that's what she's doing. She's mocking and memeing and basically mirroring all the insanity of, those who would support the indefensible lack of accountability that is generally being propagated throughout these messaging systems. And what are these messaging systems, I would say, that you're asking me? You're probably asking because you may not be aware. And if you're not aware, then just know this. There are lots of different individual messaging systems that come out of this device right here. And they are basically tailored to you. And I would say they're tailored to the point where someone who would surreptitiously or cynically want to control that by way of having a lot of money or an entire system underneath its belt, like a marketing company that's massive, that actually takes part in political campaigns and such. These folks have an interest in making sure that you buy their clients' products, that you buy their clients' ideas, that the messaging that goes along with the different caste systems, the different taxation systems, the different political ideologies, the different sexual ideologies, the different everything. There is a different message for every single freaking one of us. And that's the problem here. Which is why I have to act up a little bit of a fool, or else maybe you won't pay attention. You'll be so cynical you say that guy's crazy. And that's okay. You can say that all you want. I have a life of experience that just, I don't have to worry about what you think. I live by example. I spend time caring about people. You can call me. The phone line is open. The Zoom is open. I'm totally welcome to talk to people. But anyways, I am in the purposeful course of giving you Azure Spheres. And before I give you the final Azure Sphere that then turns into the robustly rouge spheres that then become bursting with flame Amber Spheres. Well, folks, it's just this. I'm concerned, and you should be too. Empathy is being lost in the mire of childlike or adolescent mindsets, being stunted. Not unlike the story of Brave New World, out of comfort, laziness, and just ignorance in the sense that they're educating themselves and not being educated by mentors, elders, or the world around them. So the echoplex, the echo farm, the echo chamber is cacophony, and they pick and choose, as we all do, using our best judgments, which are misinformed in the first place. And now I am one who will tell you day in and day out, I'm just as fallible. I am just as, importantly, fucked up half the time. And by fucked up, I mean like I can make mistakes. But the difference is whether or not you admit to them, whether or not you are humble about them, and whether or not you say it publicly. Or do you hold it in your mind? Do you hold it there and ignore the fact that you're doing it in the first place? Well, I'd say that a stronger person would come right on out and say, you know what, I mess up sometimes. I totally mess up sometimes. And you know, just like me, I mean, like, that's what happens. We all messed up at some point or another. Wow, is my chat not happening? What happened, chat? Hold on a second, no, my chat is happening. Well, let me just make sure the chat is happening. What happened, chat? No, my chat bar is not happening. I may have to cut that out. Sorry, folks. But the call in the line is open. I'm still watching the chat. Don't you worry. I'm paying attention, and because I have it right down in like 3 places, but I was hoping to get it scrolling today. I don't know what's going on with that. I'll work on that as the show goes on. Maybe I just need to refresh the play. No, it's in there. It's just too far down. It's too far down because I had the call in up here, and now I'm just opening up like window after window. Now there's like 13 windows, folks. Oh, is he off topic? Am I so far out? Yeah. I'm pretty far out right now. That's because I was waiting for somebody to hop off, because now it's just you and me. So one of the interesting things that I've found about this is that there's a lot of acolyte behavior, not unlike, oh, hey, you're back. Thank you so much for joining. You must have gotten kicked out. Everybody checking it out, huh? That's awesome. Thanks for checking in there, Wisconsin. I appreciate you. By the way, if you didn't know, you can see where everybody looks at you from on the tubes of the U's. It's a pretty amazing thing. Oh, let's see where the chat comes up. Welcome to the chat, and then hold on, let me move this around. Sorry, I'm like over there. Yeah, that's because I'm a wild man. Don't accuse me of doing drugs because I don't need them. I'm not one of them folks who needs them. Trust me, it's not a good idea. Someone giving me that stuff. I did my time with it. That said, when people try to accuse you of being schizo or on drugs because you don't meet their expectations, that's their problem, or as I call it, a YP. In other words, that's your problem, not my problem. My life is self-explanatory. I'm a public person, so personally, I never had that insecurity of having to point over at somebody else and be like, "You're sucky." I'll just say, "Wow, a lot of virgins, a lot of inexperienced, a lot of ignorant minds." All right, cool, and that seems to really offend people who resemble that. Which is why I always make the joke: I resemble that insult.
To the point, please.
Because I'll own whatever you put in me. I really will.
I understand.
Also helps to be thick-skinned. Have an experience, and to know when to admit one is wrong. But anyways, that could be accountability.
I don't think they're related. Anyways.
And gosh forbid that we have any form of accountability when it comes to people that we're supposed to respect or that we watch all the time.
There's a dance move that's called working, and it's where you shake your act.
I mean, we can't possibly imagine that we might need actual accountability from people that we watch and think about, because they have some kind of influence and message in our life that we really need way more great examples.
Your nephew is a better man than you. You need to measure
My
up.
nephew's a
Watch
4-year-old boy.
We need more of the messaging
What is the boy?
that spreads positivity and shared messages and opens up the floor to communication rather than what many people would do, which is to close down the communication simply because they don't like it in itself. So first and foremost, we're going to talk about a misconception about what one gender likes about another gender, because I've noticed that the beginning of the issue starts in just gender interpersonal relationships and dealing with other people. And I think Anna Akana is a great human to explain this. She is got a lot of experience. She's a great example of a person who's doing the things she says. She lives by example. She's a kind human, and she's very creative. And she's also, I mean, she's in movies now, and it shows you that if you keep working, humble beginnings can take you to a place where your accountability for yourself is proven. So here's where I'm going to share with you the number one thing women want in a partner.
Now, Andrew Huberman is a neuroscientist
Anna
at
Akana.
Stanford University. The number one thing women look for in a partner. Now, Andrew Huberman is a neuroscientist at Stanford University School of Medicine, who is most known for his podcast, The Huberman Lab, where he discusses science and science-based tools. I was recently watching an interview
Very
of his
valuable
where
stuff,
he
by the way.
discussed what women want in a long-term partner. And he said,
more important than any other feature across all cultures is that the woman reports that she sought someone who is kind to them.
Kind to them. Imagine that. But with kindness
now, before
comes
all the men in the comments
responsibility.
go, blah, 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 obviously, this woman still needs to find you attractive and
Yes, of course.
desire to pursue a romantic relationship with you. A no means no.
Yeah, and by the way, what she's talking. Oh, I'm just not fair with the freezes. Would you mind? I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just not fair with the freezes. Anyhow, what she's talking about in general, and you know what? Let me just play it back, in case you missed it. It's about kindness, and if you don't know, at its root, I'm here because I am building a thing called the Kind Human Project. It is a collection of interviews, long form and short, that I've been building for quite some time. It goes actually all the way back to 2003, to the circus tour with Common and Floetry and Talib Kweli and so many other amazing artists. And I've been filming for a very long time, and I have a pretty good collection that carries on my grandfather's work on the study of kindness and happiness and its innate characteristics within humans. So I'm going to start reaching from this, but I wanted a proper bag of Felix tricks to pull for him before I went into that. So, in other words, I didn't want it to be like this material. In fact, I want my material to be very multiplex, so it's complex and comprehensive. But that said, I also want it to be confusing to the simple minds who need one channel and one thought. Because when I'm done, I'm going to go on with my life and go back to the things I've been doing. Because this is, trust me, people doing this don't make a lot of money. And the only way they do is when they get bought out by larger corporations and businesses and are provided with a substantive background of financial support. Via management, MCN offers, that's the advertising, and agency packages. But, hey, Lita, what's happening? How you doing? I'm so glad you could be here. You like how I got the chat now up here? I can actually read without looking down. It's what's going on? Hold on a second. Lita gets an air horn for joining because. Woo! Okay, so today, Lita, we're talking about accountability, and I'm starting in with pointing out how folks tend to not be accountable for themselves, but they want everybody else to be accountable. And my point here is I'm starting with Anna Akana. And Anna Akana is telling us what it is that women truly want from men. And I think it's probably the best take I've heard across the net, because it just breaks it down to what I think you and I, as adults, anybody with real mojo, not that Riz. Because Riz is the little drip off the bag. Oh, thank you. The Riz is the little drip off the bag. You know what this is, by the way? This is me getting involved with Twitch. This right here is Twitch influenced right away. Like, that's just, it's hilarious to me. Like, I was just like, wow, why am I not doing that for the other stream? What am I thinking? What am I really doing if I don't have my chat on the screen? I don't know. I'm not like Sneeko. I'm so glad I'm not like that, thankfully. By the way, feel free to call in. The call is pinned to the top, I believe it is. Oh yeah, feel free. So accountability today is about, and you know what? Let's look this up. Let's look at what accountability actually is. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to share a little bit of this, and let's hear what Anna Kana says about what women really want. And I think the root is going to shock most people, especially the incel community and anybody who, you do have a Twitch account. Well, I'm AronMSound, as I am everywhere, by the way, very public and very findable, very much on LinkedIn, and out in the public, I have nothing to hide, really, other than a bunch of stuff that most people would want to hide. But I don't hide stuff because I can explain anything. I'm not afraid of my own background or whatever it would be, like a lot of people would be. It's very weird to me, by the way. Which is about accountability for oneself, one's background, one's behaviors, one's mistakes, one's positives. And, you know, I have often said, and I do say this really, really often, and you know what, let me shrink the I think if I shrink the chat, it'll all show up here in real time. Hold on a second, because I want people to see. Just everything. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Stretchy and stretchy. Stretchy. Let me stretch that out. And let me move this so you can see it, because it looks like some of the words. Look at that, even. Pretty. I'm also blind, so I made it larger than most of everybody else, where it's like, what does it say? Oh my god, it says what? I can't read it. Anyway. I often think that people in the chat are just cracked out of their heads. Because it's just like, and it's like nonsense. It's like everybody makes fun of me when I don't care about my typing glyphs, but you know, it's because I have huge thumbs, monstrous thumbs. Anyway, accountability. I have accountability for my typos because of my thumbs. Look at the size of my thumbs to my head. That's abnormal, isn't it? Am I wrong? That's an abnormally large. Look. It's totally abnormal. Sorry. That's why when you look at it in comparison to the phone, it doesn't work. I need like a phone extension with extra. It doesn't even work when you get the large. Anyways, I'm totally off topic now. Thank you for joining us, Lita. Yeah, so Anna Kana tells us, you and I, the obvious thing that most of us with a bag of mojo at their side, and I think that's a lot of us over the age of 35, because we had to work for it in general, right? I mean, like, that's the way I did it. We all had to learn and work to be interpersonal and social, and all of us were kind of geeks in one way or another. We all had these social issue things come up, you know, where, yeah, we make our mistakes, we make our faux pas, we're human, and we don't learn unless we do that. We don't get anything out of it unless we fuck up a lot. Because every time I fucked up, great things have followed because I learned from it and then made it a trajectory of fire that made me take the frick off every single time. It's changed my life every single time. So that's all I can say about that is for me it works, and I would suggest that it works for anybody, because I'm the fool. I really am. I'm the fool. You can call me a fool all you like. That's fine. Most people don't realize that in Lear, the fool was the king, and the king was the fool dressed up as the king. So once you know that, it kind of changes the situation, doesn't it? Because you never know who you're looking at. And that's why it's important to not just talk, but look at the background and the words and the associations. Not just the cult of personality and how many people think they're okay to be included, which is a lot of times what I'm finding is the issue. Hey, what's happening? I'm AronMSound, Blackbird, the Foundational. What's up? Hey, hold on one second. As I do with everybody that I know who sees, I see. Hold on a second. Let me. What did I do? I didn't mean to do that. Go to. Yes, I did. I don't. Okay, I'm trying to make you. Yes. I'm going to make you. Yes. Congratulations. Oh, sorry. I did not mean to delete your message. That was a total mistake. My thumbs fucked that up, Blackbird. Hold on a second. I was trying to make you. a moderator, and I pressed the wrong button. Yes, now you're a moderator! Blackbird, thank you to your channel, which, by the way, I did not mean to, you said hello to me, and that was a mistake that I pressed the wrong button, and I was trying to make you a moderator, and it says you're timed out, and I'm totally apologizing to you right now, because that was not my intent. Why can't you take someone out of timeout? That was my mistake. You aren't in timeout. My bad. It says like 300 seconds. Oh my gosh, Blackbird. I'm horrified at myself. That sucks. Hold on. I should not be using my phone for this, clearly, because my thumbs are too fucking large. I'm so sorry. Hold on a second. I'm going to write in the chat too. I'm so sorry. Hold on. I also, sorry, and with a totally, let's see, this is accountability. I can't even type it. I'm so sorry. So accountability. I fucked up. Great example. I like Blackbird. That's awesome. Blackbird, the Foundation, showed up on my show. He said hello to me, and then I accidentally deleted him. That was my bad, and I did not mean to do that. But this is an example. If you can't admit that, or I was to say something else, then we could say all kinds of things, but I noticed that this is the behavior. So truly, I really apologize. I don't know how I timed you out and made you a mod at the same time. That was amazing. I don't know. This is amazing, but hopefully they'll come back. Blackbird, I apologize. That is not fair of me. That's so messed up. And I didn't do that on purpose. But it was, wow. I'm living in that moment. Holy shit. Wow. Anyhow, buttons. Fucked up. So this is what I'm talking about. Let's find out. What? Let me just say this. Blackbird, come back. I'm sorry. There we go. There we go. Yes. If you can't say you're sorry, you can't meet the interpersonal in between, I believe. That's my opinion. And he should be coming out of timeout any second. Oh my goodness. That's embarrassing. But it happens. And so you have to live up to what you preach. You have to be a part of the scene. You have to be a part of the moment. Just like now. I'll derail my whole show. By the way, Blackbird, feel free to call in and bitch me out. That was some bullshit on my part. I don't know what happened there. God dang. I'm like, did you just come and say hi? Delete! Oh gosh. Anyhow. So what are we talking about? Accountability. And that accountability requires you to reach out and be your truthful self. But to be your truthful self, you should probably be humble, or have humility, or be kind, or be centered, or have sense of others, or emotional intelligence, or intellect. And these things are key to being able to communicate with one another, just like me communicating with you or meeting people. And one of the things I find is much of the folks that are online who want to criticize each other, want to criticize the world, well, in reality, they don't have these interpersonal skills, which is why they're criticizing. So oftentimes, people will see me in the most controversial chats, taking a really staunch position in a really tough way. And that's because I will often play an angle of thought through experiment. And why is that? Because it's important to challenge oneself and the people around us. If you see that their ideologies and their thought and their comprehension skill and their empathy is not just lacking in one's own perspective, but also not being challenged. And that's a big deal. Anna,
Now, before all the men in the comments go, blah, 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 obviously, this woman still needs to find you attractive.
Yes.
And desire to pursue a
Yes.
romantic relationship with you. A no means no,
Absolutely.
no matter how kind you are.
Yes.
But one
Thank
of
you
the
for saying that.
largest, most comprehensive
On either
studies to
side,
date
men and
of
women, folks.
68,000 women in 180
Oh, let me stop that.
countries
On
found
either side, that means men and women, both in either direction. No means no. Touching somebody and they say no. You dancing on somebody and they say no. You want to buy somebody a drink and they say no. You want to talk to somebody, they say no. And they say no. That's no. Okay? Everybody has to learn. And sometimes it's harder for others. But I do find that there's certain people, hey, oh my goodness, thank you for coming back. Oh my goodness, thank you for coming back, Blackbird. I see you have come back, and oh my goodness, if you didn't see, I'm apologizing. I made you a mod, like I do everybody. I make everybody a mod because I believe that it should be the Wild West in my chat, so that if anybody really is like messing up out there, anybody can kick them out. Because the whole like limitation thing is exceptionalism, and I'm just not into that Ayn Rand bullshit. But yes, I appreciate you for coming back, and thank you for being gracious and allowing me the apology. And that's part of the thing that I'm talking about today, is our own accountability to making mistakes and doing stupid stuff that you maybe do or do not mean to do, but then you see the wrong in your ways and you fix it. And that's part of being accountable. In fact, that's the base understanding of accountable. So Anna, keep talking. I'm gonna actually like give Anna Akana a little let's say a little too much right here. A little too much. Let's get that going with the yeah, I don't need that much. I just need about that. And how about I just need about just need about that. And I need about I need about there. Hold on. Yeah, right about there. Okay, cool. And you're like, what is he doing? I'm doing magic, folks. I'm doing magic. But until you peep it. Oh my. Okay, so Anna, tell us a little bit more about what women really want in a man, and not this incel red pill shit.
Kindness was the most important trait, with nearly 90% of women thinking it was a top
Did you win the game?
priority.
Oh, a second.
Close
Fuck all
behind.
this. Lita, did you? Lita says, I'm looking at my phone. It's up here. Lita says, okay, I just finished my match on the game. I'm playing, and I can now pay attention. LOL, which would actually be if I was to play it out. But Lita, thank you for either direction sharing and also being here. I really appreciate that. That's freaking awesome. What game were you playing? Feel free to call in and share it. I'm happy to share the game because, by the way, sharing with you and telling you that that's the case, that I want you to share with me, that's called being accountable. That's called, sticking up for what I believe in. And I like the chat on the screen. Yeah, we won, and I got play of the game. Ooh, so you won an actual gamer game. Hey, see, I'm not a gamer, but I'm all for supporting that as a, an event and as a show or whatever that be. I mean, I am all for that. Let me see here. Why? Of course. Oh, I know why. I'm being an absolute doofball here. Which is not unusual, as you all know. Let's see. Yeah, I did some adjustments in the past couple days. And, I know why. Goofy Goofball McGoofington. Goofy Goofball McGoofington. Just call me Goofy Goofball McGoofington. Because sometimes that happens. And if I'm not telling you about it, then what am I really doing? Am I being accountable? I don't think so. I think I would have been hiding it underneath some kind of like facade, as if, that's something you wouldn't notice. Like, like you wouldn't notice me not looking at the camera. You wouldn't notice me playing around with the computer or something of that nature. So Anna.
Were supportiveness and intelligence. Whereas things like an attractive body were only valued by 22.3% of the women.
Oh, did you hear that? Did you hear what she said? I don't think you all heard what she said. She's saying that women the opposite gender, the other half of the planet, they don't really care about your super good looks. They I mean, it's nice, but that's not the focus, right? Am I reading that wrong? Am I hearing that wrong? I don't know. You tell me. I mean, because if I am, feel free to tell me. Go ahead. I'm down. I'll hear it. You know I'll hear it. But I think that we can trust that a highly attractive person who is both bisexual and accomplished might have less, on the table to worry about. Because they themselves are just trying to share. I'm not fair. I'm not fair with the freezes. I've never been fair with the freezes. Oh, I'll do it myself too. Oh. So yeah, if you want to call in and share the game, by the way, Elita, I'm totally down to peep that. That sounds fun. I've been getting a big kick out of that just to turn my brain off, watching other people play games in Discord. Hi, whoever that is, welcome back. I you know what? If I'm gonna apologize. I accidentally timed somebody out. I did not mean to. I was trying to make you a mod. They know who they are. I have a large thumb system going on here, and if you notice it's squared, it's not good for pressing buttons. Oh, thank you. Please do. I'd love to hear your thoughts on accountability and on the rest of this too. And let's give you the air horn for that. Wow, hardcore. That's right. So, where are we at? We're listening to Anna tell us how to get a date. Hi, welcome back. Oh, thank you for coming in. I'm so glad you could join us here, folks. I'm AronMSound. This is Lookup, the show where I interject myself into a conversation that nobody, not anybody in their right minds asked me to be a part of, and by way of which I've extended the conversation, and I'm going to try to take it somewhere it wasn't meant to go. So, Anna, talk to us about...
What shows up again and again in the data
yeah,
is that women tend to pair up long-term with someone who is kind to them. Now, according to the senior scientist at the Kinsey Institute and lead researcher on this project...
And by the way, I just want to mention something. If you ever hear anybody talking about sexuality on a show, and they don't mention the Kinsey Institute, or they don't mention the CDC in reference to the Kinsey Institute, or Pew Report, or... oh, awesome! Thank you. I appreciate it. You guys won and got to play and you got to play the game, and you're gonna definitely join in later. That's awesome. And what am I doing? I'm still looking at my phone. I gotta get out of this habit. I can look right ahead. I don't have to do anything. I just look at the camera and I can read it. It's fucking awesome. I'm so happy with this right now. First, let me add you on Twitch. Thank you. I need more followers. Thank you. Hold on a second. That gets triple air horn and a big thumb. Woo! I'm crushing my head. Sorry. So the only thing, by the way, folks, that I can't really do anymore, we're gonna work it out. I'll figure it out because I can multi-stream out, but I can't Anokcha right now. Sorry. I can't Anokcha myself. I can Anokcha whole pictures, but I can't Anokcha me. So yeah, some little technical spectacles. By the way, how's the new camera look? How's the new routing on the audio sound? I don't know if you noticed that, but there's a couple new little toys and tools going on. So things are adjusting and moving forward for you. Which, by the way, I am working on a new. Oh my God! Oh God! No, I'm working on a another humaning for you segment. It's probably going to be based on accountability, but we shall see. So, see, the magic chair from Amazon, still fucking up. But it's better. It's so much better. Like, I can actually, twist the chair right over that shit, and you can't tell that the chair is right. That's magic. I just lay in the chair. I like laying in the chair. Anyways, am I diverting? Am I diverting from the topic? Yes, I am, because I have given you officially Azure Spheres! All right, but we're ready to move, right? Anna's telling us about how women don't give a flying frick about all that fancy red pill shit, which is why she's saying it. She's just not saying it. So I'm saying it so she can say it while she's saying it, so you know she's saying it.
Security or attractiveness, what shows up again and again in the data is that women tend to pair up long-term with someone who is kind to them. Now, according to the senior scientist at the Kinsey Institute and lead researcher on this project, Virginia J. Vitsum, Kindness is the key to the human capacity for forming long-term social bonds, so essential to our evolution. This is the human brain unconsciously prioritizing what matters and noticing physical imperfections less. Intrinsic goodness and shared values are what drives real romance. But if you really want to know...
intrinsic shared values is what drives romance, not everything else. Not just the physical features, but more importantly, that only 22% of women
chose an average-sized penis, not a large one, followed by short hair, large hands, an attractive back.
Did you hear that? You want me to run it back so some of you remember?
Women chose average breasts as the next most important feature. Hair, large. Romance.
So I want you all to hear this.
I want to know what the best physical traits are. Both gay and straight women said an attractive smile and nice eyes were the most important physical features a partner can have.
See?
They went a little further.
Also, I find that a good attitude.
Straight women chose an average-sized penis, not a large one, followed by...
Did you hear that? She said you don't need to honk a donk because nobody likes a tire iron in their pill pocket. Maybe some do, but to each their own either way. Now, gay men study, that's different. No, that'd be like averaging. It was like 6.5 to 8 inches, please. It's like, oh, gentlemen. Wow, you go. There's a lot of that out there for that, huh? I'm like, okay, cool. Good on you, all of that. Because, you know, so that's a lot of exercise. I'm going to stay out of that topic. All right, cool, let's go.
Features a partner can have. They went a little further, and this is kind of where it gets funny. Straight women chose an average-sized penis, not a...
Straight women chose see that thing? Oh, you awful bullshit, because you choose average size, but then talk about tiny peenie. No, I'm just making fun. That is, why did she turn into the lunch lady right there? She really turned into the lunch... She's like, we now know what Anna Akana is going to look like when she's 83 years old. I hope she does. I could be totally wrong. She's such a lovely lady. She really does have an amazing show. But she's turning into the lunch lady. It's so terrible. Anyhow, the point she's trying to make is that you don't have to be 6 foot tall. You don't have to have a 12-inch dick. You don't have to have... And I'm not just talking to the men. And I'll leave it that there. I'm talking about the concept that, hi, hey, welcome in. Come on in. We're talking about what's up, Abba 7. Hold on a second. I did not see one of my very first watchers, Abba 7. Oh, hold on a second. My air horn is not loud enough. Now watch your ears. Abba 7, rising synth sound, explosions, stings, and seek shelter. Woo! Thank you for being here. Anna's right. To each their own, but the averaging is average. Most people are average. Most people just want good company and kindness and for you to listen to them and care. And really, when you stand next to someone and you shake their hand and you listen to them, like, I see Jordan, I see Lita, I see Abba, I see Mike. I see, who else do I see in here? Oh, I did see for a moment Blackbird, the foundational, and I fucked that one up. Because I'm accountable for my mistakes. I did make him a mod, or him a mod. I should just look up at the screen. Hold on. In fact, let me roll this back. Let's. No, I think we can move on. I'm sorry. I just feel terrible. My thumbs. Anyway, Shabbat Shalom, Aaron in chat. Hey, it makes me so happy to be able to now read. I don't have to look at my phone, so I'm going to keep practicing this. And also, I don't know if you noticed this, but my. Oh wow, I can touch the wall. Oh wow, I can really. Things have changed around here. You've noticed it's a stitch wider. Oh, my arms, they're like 9 feet long now. Isn't that awesome, the way I did with the camera? That's called camera lens distortion for perspective value. And I'm doing these things on purpose because I want the audience to question perspective. I would gather you don't know how tall I am. You don't know how short I am. So I'm going to stand here and give you perspective and frame. But that perspective is also a mistaken perspective. The fact that I have to bend over a little so that you have to look at me. Well, these are part of the things that I'm going to talk about as accountability as well. Because understanding our own perspectives and associations, our own loves. And yes, I totally, I always forget, and thank you, Abba, for reminding me. Yes, please, like and subscribe if you're not already. It doesn't seem like I am really lucky. I have a fairly balanced audience where it's pretty much half men and women, and most of you are subscribed. I don't have a lot of lurkers very often. They come and go because they realize that I'm talking some things that they don't understand or don't like very quickly, which, hey, that's fine. But like for sure, because it gets it out into the algorithm, and then more people are here to join us. And, by the way, after Mike's show tonight, or around, hey, what's happening? What's going on? After Mike's show, I do a dance party at midnight to 2 a.m. Now, Thursday, which is, if you just want to see the visuals, and you don't want to see me, and you don't want to hear the talking, I do just the dance, just the shake and shimmy, just your ass doing this. That kind of thing, for 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours. I appreciate you, Lita, and I'm going to just leave that there. I'm actually 3'3", but that's what perspective does. No, I'm kidding. I'm only 8 inches tall, which is why my thumbs look so large. No, I'm 6'5", I swear. I'm just going to keep it confusing, so that when anybody ever sees me, they'll just be like, oh! And this came up, by the way, because I realized there was a gentleman that I've spoken to many times. I've seen him on many debates, and he's mentioned on the camera the other day that he was 6'2". Hold on. That needs a turn quick. Hold on. Should I leave the other camera in this frame? That's awesome. I was practicing this other... Yeah, I think I should leave. What the hell? He's 6'2"? He looks like he's 4'3". In every shot, he looks like he's 4'3". What is going on? Anyways. Yeah. So everybody, when you're watching me, you'll understand, if you talk with any of the other chatters, that part of this is you're in the full tilt rouge spheres, and they're swelling. Don't like wisdom being shared differently with humor. God, I just want to hug you, 7. A great example. I'd like to just make out a 7, and we don't agree on everything. And actually, one of these things I appreciate about Abba is that I understand that I may say some challenging stuff, and I know that we challenge each other, and I think that's what the conversation is about, that if we don't challenge each other, we don't grow. And joy and humor, yes, that is something that we can all get along with, and that we can all just be here together and shake each other's hand and pat each other on the back and bounce around, and yet at the same time, we can manage to cover a whole bunch of topics and things that we're concerned about, and laugh at them, and be concerned about them, and to think more clearly about them, and to share our ideas and our differences. And without understanding those differences, what are we really doing but living in a stagnant world? Which is why I like sharing this Anna picture where she's like, no! Because Anna has a perspective that I don't think we hear often enough. I don't think that we hear people telling each other that you can be normal, that we can have accountability for love, for ourselves, for each other, that we can be accountable for all the things that maybe we aren't directly associated with, but that we can do something about. And that when we don't take accountability even for others and ourselves, I think we're doing life a disservice. I think we're doing sentience a disservice. I think we're doing this awesome experience a disservice. But that's just me. You don't have to feel that extreme about it. I feel that extreme personally about a lack of accountability or association to accountability because I see it so often. Wayward ascetic! Ha! Yes. Yes, indeed. I feel so strongly about it because I myself have had to learn that. And I see that many people don't. I see that many people don't want to have accountability for any portion of the conversation unless it's what they like. And that's my email. Happy to share it. Is, as you see it, AronMSound@gmail.com, or at Twitter, or at Twitch, I'm also on LinkedIn. Basically, I've been AronMSound. And hello, what's happening? And by the way, welcome, Aesthetic. And who else is in the chat? I didn't actually welcome Bridget back because I know she had to go to work. And yeah, I'm so glad to have you here. So we started Aesthetic, and you kind of missed it. I'll go over what Anna was saying, which is basically that you don't need a big dork. Average is fine. Women like kindness over everything else, and that this is really about interpersonal accountability for one's own normality. There you go. People are normal. We should all accept that we're normal and then love people for being normal. And that's actually the most powerful thing. And really, what I've come to find is that when you walk out in the world and, what up, dude? Hold on a second. Wayward, by the way, do people notice that you're all mods? You're like, wait, if I'm a mod, maybe that means I'm not special. No, you are special, but you're normal. You like how I did that? You see what I did there? You're all special, but you're normal. It also means everybody's accountable, because anybody can kick each other out. Except for one, and she is the Uber mod, Brigitte Motan. Because she's multiple mods and she's our power against the system essentially. Because don't fuck with Bridget. She'll just be like, no. Delete. But she won't. She's. And I'm still waiting to see the person I kicked out earlier by accident. That it was totally uncalled for and not very fair of me by accident. And I keep saying that because it was like totally by accident. Sucks. Thank you, Wayward. I think it's something. I'm just trying something different. I dislike exceptionalism. For someone like myself who's been included in so many amazing things. Yeah. Don't worry, Bridget. The only person you got to worry about is that Gale at Night lady, and she's disappeared. She just disappeared. By the way, that's some other stuff. I think that there must have been a rift. But that's beside the point. Anyways, that's a totally other story. I am still building Dossier, and boy, is that Dossier wild. It's gotten super wild. Oh my god. What is going on out there, people? There's some, Shabbat Shalom, L'chaim. By the way, and if you didn't know, despite the fact that I am termed Mike Show as the resident rabbi, that is so tacitly just almost wrong in so many ways, but it's right, but it's wrong because I'm the worst Jew. I get all my Jewish when my Jewish family tells me that it's the Jewish holidays, I'm terrible at it. But it doesn't mean that I don't respect my background. I don't respect other people's background. But I am self-admitting and accountable to my own idiocy. Oh yeah, no, Gail's still around. I've seen her about there, but she seems less active, if that's just me. And now if you're seeing it elsewhere, I'd really be interested in hearing more. Actually, maybe later in the stream when I get around to where that kind of ends up. Because there is a crossover there with Gail that is real shocking. And we could go into that actually. It'll extend this program a little farther than I want. I'm trying to keep it to 2 hours. Even though I'm already an hour in. And yes, can we say it? Can we say it? Seek shelter, folks. Seek shelter. We're talking about full tilt, amber, rouge, burnt umber, spheres. Here we go.
Large one, followed by short hair, large hands, an attractive back, whatever that means, muscular arms, and facial
what is
hair.
what is attractive back?
Average
chat?
breasts.
What?
Is the next,
what is that?
Most important feature, followed by an average buttocks, an attractive back again.
So are we saying now that we don't like the badonk anymore? Am I out of badonk land? Because I like badonk. Badonk is pretty cool.
Second with 34.8% of the votes.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I just like pretty people. Can I just say that? Can I like pretty? There's nothing wrong with that.
Body type. So
I'm average.
Like
I'm super average.
Person, or that you have dad
goofy. Yeah, goofy to average. And then for some reason,
compassion and support are the traits that you can cultivate for your perfect match. And
what did she just say? Did she just suggest that all it takes is kindness, compassion, and support? Is that what you said?
That you can cultivate for your perfect match.
Yes.
And you can start by not or that you have dad bod. Fret not, because kindness, compassion, and support are the traits that you can cultivate for your perfect match. And
can you imagine that? A highly attractive woman saying that kindness, Compassion? That's all you need? Wow! Hold on, let me change cameras for this. Wow! Yeah. Why am I being facetious? Why am I being capricious? Why am I being cynical? Oh my goodness, yes. Oh my goodness, Wayward. That is correct. Why? Because so often, and more often than not nowadays, I hear the implausibility and the impossibility of having simple interpersonal affairs. Simple understanding and a basic, just a recognition that, yes, hopefully, there's a hope amongst us all that we can have that simple interpersonal affair that is respect. And I would say, if you know me at all, and if you've seen me at all, you might think, well, this guy's got to be wacky in person, but I'm not that much different. I'm really not. I'm wacky, yes, but I'm fun. And that's the thing is, and by the way, I've never, when I wanted to, ever had a problem getting a date, or making a friend, or talking with a stranger, or meeting people that don't like me, and in some ways turning a little bit of them towards me, because one, I have accountability for my behaviors, and I know that my asshole, yeah, has a brand like yours, and we all like our own brands. Now, I am imperfect like the next person. So if we acknowledge that in the course of the rest of it, we are taking accountability for our failures, for our fallibility. And that's really just the starting block. You don't have to be, completely deprecating. You don't need to be that. But your viability as a person, your responsibility, your respectability, your earnestness, your honesty is balanced by whether or not you're accountable, whether or not you're self-admitting, whether or not you are face forward. So you can lie all day long, by the way. I've seen plenty of fabricators who are honest and kind, and I'll take them over a truthful shitbird who doesn't like anyone, who has malicious intent, and who would see others as less than. No. I will take an asshole all day long whose brand is, oh yeah, their own. No, that's right, Bridget, it's you. Because, of course, you know yours and I know mine. So when you're dealing with someone else's, it's always ick. It's always you. But this is the truth of the matter. We live amongst each other. And we have these judgments, and it doesn't mean you have to accept them. That's not it. It's just the fact that we all must acknowledge that when somebody is at least self-admitting, they are acknowledging accountability, whether one likes the way it's happening or not. And much of the time nowadays, I'm hearing people try to be judge and jury for somebody else's tough behavior that they themselves cannot portray. And that's where I draw the boundary line. If you want to talk smack about somebody as a liar, as a cheat, as a thief, as a scam artist, as a anything, Wayward Aesthetic, I'm sorry. I've also been involved with some violent women myself. And I've also had altercations in real life, tussles with other humans. Not of my own starting, but of my own involvement, and that's another accountability. And Wayward, I'm sorry that you're having that experience. And I hope that between us all here, we can assist you if you need, if you would like, at any time or in any way. The phone line is open even after hours. By the way, it's always the same, folks. If I get a call, I pick it up. So just know that. I'm open to talk offline as well as online. I'm no psychologist, but I'm a friend to the friendless. I am an ear to the awkward, as this is the home of the awkward, because I believe in you. Why? Because I believe we're mostly stuck, and this is where my preaching comes in every day. I believe we're mostly stuck. Excuse me, dog. I'm sorry. My Pierre behind me just was totally relaxed and was like, what the fuck? I believe that we're stuck in this mental prison. And this mental prison is one that we'll defend for ourselves at all costs. And it's not our own fault, but it is. Because without our own accountability, well, we can't get out of that prison or recognize that all we had to do was turn around to see the... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like pointing at Anna. To see the Anna behind us. No, to see the open gate behind. Yeah. It's us. And then we'll stand in that prison. We will stand in that prison. And we'll defend it. And we'll shoot shit into a bucket. That's right, you heard me. Shoot shit into a bucket. And we'll pick up that bucket. We'll gold plate that bucket. And we'll cover the gold plated poopy bucket with the bedazzled diamonds because it's ours. And then we'll fling it at our neighbors through the imaginary fence. And what is this called, my friends? As we all know, it's called the obelisk. The oldest known physical form that describes power structure in the world, and it's in every major center of every major country of every major portion of the world. Why? Because there's a bend on top that's four-sided, that's separate of the funnel, and that funnel is our prison. Whether you want it as a metaphor or a real structure, it doesn't matter. That was designed thousands of years ago, and that's what that structure means. Whether you like it or not. I'm accountable for the things I know. And that's something I have no question in. What I do have a question about is whether or not we can reach out to each other and hand each other this sledgehammer of mirth that just breaks down that shit and reach to each other and say, hey, it's O-fucking-K. I understand. We're all fucking human. And shit's goddamn tough. Yes, sir. Interesting symbol, that obelisk. It's an ancient one, and it really does represent a practice of funneling us all up to the top, only to utilize a little fraction of us for somebody else. And that somebody else currently is only 1,400 humans on the planet. Yeah, that's where it gets interesting. So correct, Wayward. I agree with you. It is interesting, and it's an interesting symbol. But I digress. That's my conspiratorial explanation of the day. Because I pay attention to cults. I've studied that because cult of personality is how great artists are sold. Cult of personality are how great events are sold. And cults and the behavior of mental manipulation, well, that's how religions, beliefs, ideology that follow, politic, and marketing get sold. But also, when you recognize that there are people in the world who may not have a religion, but they sure do have a following that might do anything that a religion might do, well, that's when Wayward ascetic, yeah, this makes sense. And I'm bringing this to your attention.
Insane to me that, like, somebody that's hurling around false accusations to multiple people, by the way. Arguably, her worst accusation wasn't even against me. It was against his son.
Okay, so let's just start with what was just said. There's a lot of assumption. There's a lot of concept. There's a lot of conversation with the chat. And this person over here, a little blue-haired man in a little box who plays video games for 12 to 24-year-olds, who spreads not just misinformation, but what seems to be, in my opinion, and I say misinformation because oftentimes this person is working on multiple channels saying multiple things at once that may not be congruent or cogent or non-discriminatory. As a matter of fact, this person feels very, very free and powerful to be discriminatory on many levels. And I'm not just talking, yes, Lita, this does dip into law. So I'm going to touch on some slightly touchy things. And the reason I'm going to touch on this is because it's not about law. No. This is just a good example of accountability and the strange ways that accountability can come about. And I'm going to use this as a comparative between a very powerful figure and a non-powerful figure who has gained power because, without question, everybody can acknowledge, without saying it, that the accountability level of being a fool is so powerful in the back of people's minds that they can't ignore it. They get upset about it, and the cognitive dissonance overtakes them, because what you end up hearing is one side that has no fallibility, with no self-acceptance, no accountability, garnering strength in turning their power as a defamation resource towards another, which to me is in its essence a lack of accountability. Because all of the things that were done wrong are on video. And I'm not talking about love. Yes, he does. He has powerful influence, wayward ascetic, that is actually, if you want to talk about that in for real life, I've been doing a lot of study on those numbers. Yeah. Yes, no, absolutely. I've been seeing the numbers, and the effect on 12 to 24-year-old males is actually paired with the amount of people that have become incels directly. They are not just a Venn diagram that is closely aligned, they are the same circle. And that's the problem. There's only a 15% divergence outside of that Venn once I did this study. And let me tell you something, that's a problem. Because those people get called to action. And those people who might be an acolyte of someone who would have no accountability themselves, well, you know, what Voltaire says, I think I've said it a number of times, that they who would sell you an idiocy might also sell you an atrocity. Let's change the beat up for this, shall we? Sorry, I love that swing. You've noticed that too, Lita? Yes, I think many of us. By the way, I love that you're. Yeah, I love the little froggies. I'm so glad that Pepe got taken out of jail. He was misused by some white nationalists for a while. If you know that Pepe history, it's a sad thing. They took away a meme several of us in a very old chat system used to use, and destroyed what it was. And now he's back. I'm very happy about that, by the way, because people thought Pepe was a racist thing for a while, and it was like because he got turned into a racist thing, or I'm sorry, a bigoted thing, because I don't know how Pepe was being used to control people. So, anyways, he could have been. I don't know. We can get down that path too, but that's such a long, different conversation. I don't want to go into. I don't want to be Mr. President Sunday and be like, humans are not actually part of a system. They're just a system that is no part of any human entity. What the fuck did you just say, Mr. Circular Logic? Oh, Mr. Circular Logic. I couldn't imagine where he got the circular logic from. Oh, the logic that changes anytime somebody actually... By the way, if you stamp your hand on the table, that doesn't make you right. It just means that you don't have... What's the word, kids? Accountability! That's right.
I don't want to be involved in promoting anybody. Like the fact that she's literally getting onto podcasts because she's leached popularity off of my platform.
Interesting. Lavloon would have never gotten onto his platform if she didn't already have popularity on Twitch. She was a Twitch streamer before, so let me just negate that argument. She was invited by him onto his platform. She has the right to go on any platform and say whatever she feels like and then take the risk, because if she's going to defame, that could be the case. But in this case, we already have clear defamation because he's trying to slur and slam when that's not fact. That's not fact. Right there. So we're just starting there. We haven't even begun. This man has 10 hours a day for the past decade of information and many girlfriends and many different scenarios and lots of different chat guests and lots of different Discord users and lots of banned people and lots of behaviors that weren't held out in the public, and then lots of public record, which I've been collecting. So, with that said, I would be wary of they who seek to slander without self-admission of one's own bad behaviors. I would wonder about a person who seeks to their own audience and not a professional investigator for quote-unquote proof. I would wonder about blue-haired tyranny. Yes, wayward aesthetic. I would wonder about that. I would be concerned if I saw that it was happening. I would be concerned if I saw a group of acolytes deciding to start war rooms when they're thumb jockeys and have no life experience. Yes, that is correct. If you'd like to contact me, you may call me 24 hours a day. The Zoom is generally open. If it's not, I get the notification and I will open it back up. And also, you can also contact me with information, clips, and anything else. Bridget is correct. It is AronMSound@gmail.com. I don't have a public phone number unless you actually find my business work. And even then, I will talk to you if you find that too. I'm a public person, but I don't offer that here just because I was already attacked DDoS by a whole group of folks that are associated possibly to some of these things, because it happened to be once I started talking about this that I started getting DDoS attacks. So that's it. Thank goodness for VPN. Anyway,
and then saying God knows what to these people, because I don't know if she's like
God knows what to whose people. So he's talking about somebody. Okay, I covered this the other night. Lav Loon got on the Whatever podcast, and nobody knew that she was going to be on the Whatever podcast. And Brian, the host of the Whatever podcast, who's a very interesting character himself, well, he didn't know who she was. And that's an important thing, because suddenly we've got this person over here who, well, he shouldn't be concerned about this, right? I mean, he has nothing to worry about. He hasn't done anything wrong, right? Why would he be so concerned that she might be talking to other people? Hold on. This deserves second camera turn. Oh. By the way, feel free to clip and meme. Oh. Why would he be so concerned? She's talking to other people. Huh. I mean, because he doesn't have anything to worry about. He's a very powerful figure who's done nothing wrong, right? Moby Hold on a second. Moby in the house. By the way, if anybody sees, hold on a second, I'll pull it back up. It's, I feel still, it's an hour and a half later and I still feel terrible. Blackbird the Foundational. If anybody sees Blackbird the Foundational, please tell him, come back, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, if you missed it, I tried to make him a mod. I did make him a mod, and my thumb hit him and gave him a timeout, and he left. Woo! Yeah, we do, Mobijej. It's starting to grow. The family's starting to grow, and those of you here, I call you my flowers. My flowers, our flowers. We are the flowers. It's not Femi, no, because flowers give off the seeds. Flowers give off the seeds that grow other flowers, and it's one by one, each of us for each other. I'm not a leader. I'm not this guy. I'm just part of the army. I'm standing there. There's others like Mike TV and J9 and Shoe on Head and Epic Rap Battles and so many people. Daystorm Powers. Keep the mojo rising. Thank you. Oh, sorry. That was actual mojo there for a moment. Wow, jeez. Hang on. I need to get a hair on fire. I'm going to start getting, I'm looking for 3D graphics. We do need to feed the bees. I actually have totally off topic. I have a wonderful beehive out front of my house in my old, I have an ancient tree out front. And there's a bunch of European honeybees that live inside that tree, and it must be most of the tree. I'm actually concerned because I know that one of the limbs is going to fall one of these days. But until then, like in the springtime, there's nothing more exciting than when the bees come to life and they are just buzzing and singing. And because I've been here on the property for some time, they know me and I know them. And they'll land on me. They'll buzz around me. And, you know, they're little dogs. Don't be afraid of bees. I love bees. I'm sorry. I've been planning lots of stuff for the bees as well. So, because that's important, folks. We don't exist without them. Symbiosis is very important. And being accountable for our fellow species. Being accountable for our planet. Being accountable for what we do. I mean, we can't be accountable for others all the time. We can try, and that's the point. We at least should probably try. And I say probably because I know a lot of people will feel like, oh, whatever it takes from me. Well, that speaks for itself. You want to be part of the tribe, but you really only want to be part of the tribe for you. And that's not accountability. That's many things, but that's not accountability. That's egomaniacal behavior. That's selfishness. That's all these words that keep getting drowned out by the bullshit words of the in-speak of a cult, like cringe. Stop using cringe. The word is awkward. The word is uncomfortable. If you feel uncomfortable, say you're uncomfortable. When you say cringe, you've just, can I get honey from it? I wish I could. I've been talking to people about getting another box to pull them out. But then somebody who was an expert told me that it would destroy the hive and they would, kill the current queen or whatever it is, because moving the queen is very hard. You have to get a specialist out here, so I've been talking to people about it, because I actually want to pull them at least somewhere else, and I have a hill I can put them in, because I don't want them to, at some point, lose their home due to the limb that they've basically, I'm talking about a limb that's like this big around, and it's, you can't even tell. It's so large that it looks like it's 30 feet around. No, it's like this big around for real. And it's about 15 feet long. So that bad boy is just inside. It's got to be gooked. And in the summertime, by the way, the honey does seep out the side, and I can see it dripping. But there's no way to get it without pissing off the bees, I would gather. And I really, I don't even climb up on that bad boy because I know that if you get too close, you get any of that bad little spray on you from the security bees, and they'll all come after you. And that's the last thing I want. Let me tell you, because they're my friends. They're my friends. Anyhow, where were we? Oh, yes. The little blue man in the box. I've got a lot of coverage on other stuff about what he's doing here. But we'll just say that the effect is palpable. This year it was measured by an Ipsos survey of bad language and behavior on schoolyards as people send their children back to school. And what was one of the number one terms on campuses across the country for children ages 12 to 14? Oh, are you not surprised? The term was mid-Jewish put. You want to hear it again? It was mid-Jewish put. Now, if you don't know what that's in reference to, it's because this man kept repeating it over and over and over again. That's called slander, because he was saying it directly about the person he had been dating, who he wasn't happy with because they were reporting to someone who he had hired to be a bad guy on his podcast. And I say he had hired because I already have a video of this. I shared this already. It's a video called You Said I Was Wrong. And it's where he and Mr. Girl planned the arc for the following 4 months. Now, at the end of those 4 months, Mr. Girl clearly became a Frankenstein and got out of control. For whatever reason, you can decide for yourself. But there's video of him deciding an arc, of creating the bad guy, of Mr. Girl saying he's going to play out his role, of them talking about who they're going to pull in and how they're going to pull them in. And, oh yeah, no, it's not strange though. Because Wayward Ascetic, one of the things I point out is we do show. And somebody who stays on the air for 10 hours a day, for 10 years or more, has to script out a plan of some nature. Even I do that, even though I ramble and talk. I have a plan. I have an idea. I bring it around. Oh, yes. Yeah. I've definitely watched the Bee Movie many times. I love that movie. Yeah, so Wayward, one of the things that's very important to remember is that he's concerned because he has 10 hours of video every single day across multiple platforms to be pulled from in any facet, so his accountability should be innate. And yet, what is he doing here? So let's forget the other person. I don't care about the other person as far as that's concerned. It doesn't really matter either way. Who is this person? I don't give a fuck. But what I do give a fuck about is the impact this person has on the hearts and minds of a whole nation and a good portion of the world that he's affecting because of the amount of platforms. And the words that he says, they're not all the same on all the platforms. No. And one of the things I found out as well is accountability should be that you have your name on your other distribution systems. Yet, those other distribution systems that, if you're familiar with this material, aren't associated to him directly. That's called plausible deniability, my friends. When you separate your language and meaning and message into different channels, it's called multi-channeling, aka wagging the dog. Because if you don't want your whole complexion to be out there for the world to see, well then you aren't accountable for what you're saying, or your beliefs, or your ideologies, or what you're propagating out into the world. And that's dangerous, because those who would sell you an idiocy would also sell you an atrocity. And trust me, I believe that's coming. And if you don't, then you haven't heard the angry incels, the response of the chat. You haven't looked at all sides of the chat. I would believe he's negligent, personally. That's my take right now. Now, I could be wrong about that, so please correct me if you feel I'm wrong. Call in. I'm happy to talk about this. But most of the time, what I hear is a rhetoric in return to this when I point this stuff out. I don't hear the logic of hearing he's not providing any information and he has to farm it from a community. Why doesn't he have the proof? Oh, because the proof is anecdotal and coincidental, convenient, because when you match it against proof that he has against him for his own lack of accountability, it turns out, you know, silence and complicity and or lying by omission is also lying. So can one liar call another liar a liar? Sure. But is one weighted over another? No. Unless they have a public platform where other people have been hurt, where other people have hurt themselves, where other people have been bullied, or that there might be several hundred or 1,000 people that are willing to take action and then chase around someone and bully them. Or maybe they might record in a Discord server and inadvertently collect someone like me, not knowing who I am. Or even that they missed the best quote of all time. Because I want to remind you that cynicism in humor is the highest form of the art. Seinfeld. So when you hear this cynical line, live, laugh, lie, and you take that for face value, well, you just bought the idiocy, and now I'm concerned about the atrocity coming. Other people's limited comprehension skills are not the problem of the person who is having the limited comprehension skill focused at. Though you would think it would be. But if that's the case, then that means the witch trials and Takamata with the Inquisition and the pogroms and the Armenian genocide and Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge and many other dogpile of humanity for the sake of a few, with a lack of accountability for the actual behaviors, even in history. Or let's say slavery for 500 years without reparations. I don't see them as any different in the end, because each of those were caused by a powerful source against another source that could only do what they could access to defend themselves. Which is why anything this person says about someone who doesn't have their own platform because they got it taken away is doing nothing more than defaming and slandering someone they would complain is defaming and slandering them. Because not only is it important about intent in the situation, but it's also very important when you're facing off against somebody else to recognize what is accountability and what is not.
Shit, because I asked the whatever podcast people, she's telling them about our history and shit. I don't want to be involved in promoting anything or anybody peripheral to her that's like hosting her. I think I have a right to do that. I think that's okay. So I'm probably unlisting.
I'm sure you do. That's you talking to you, deciding that what you decide is okay. Isn't that amazing? Oh, it's so good. Hold on, let me. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm king. Tell me that you're full of yourself, egomaniacal, and completely disingenuous, as well as cognitively dissonant to the situation and or trying to rile your audience without actually saying, oh no, you said it. You just said it. You're actually trying to instill a hatred and a bias of your audience and giving them kudos. So you're actually perpetrating a cyber stalking, I would say. Personally, someone who dealt with this just recently, that seems a lot like cyber stalking. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this seems like that. And this is very common online, by the way. Really common. And I know that I might be offending some people, and I'm sorry if I am, but actually, no, I'm not sorry if I am offending you by telling you the truth. Because the truth is, as much of the truth nowadays is obscured or obfuscated by someone who doesn't want to have accountability. And I say that patronizingly. Yes, yes, Bridget. Ugh! Yes, but we know we all love our own, don't we? I'm a little concerned when we don't love our own, because it's like, really? I'm concerned. Do you need a friend? Which is a lot of this is. This is someone who needs a friend. I don't think this person trusts anyone. I think this person has been so hyped on whatever. I've heard him actually quote that he takes ADHD medicine. Does he have ADHD? Because otherwise that acts like cocaine, which would explain why his face is bloating all the time and goes in and out. Do his fans go after detractors? Absolutely. They are after Love Loon like you would. They're after me. They're after anybody who says anything. You can go into the chat. You can go look at Wick's debate. And the moment I say anything about Love being based, suddenly I'm attacked as being a Love simp. Meanwhile, they're simping for a man. And when I say that, don't simp for him, which is my big thing now. Red pill. Stop simping for men. Unless you want to hang out with a bunch of other manly men being manly. Do ya? Is that what you think? Being manly with a bunch of other manly men? Go out on a ship, being manly? Get all close and manly? For other men? Simple for other men? Why don't you send them $10 for super chat? Why don't you send them $100? Why don't you send them $500 so you can talk shit about love? Gok 3000 over there. Meanwhile, instead of going out into the world and being reasonable to people, you'd think that it was totally acceptable nowadays to completely attack folks from the get-go. I watched a buzzer the other day where the dude walks up and has no clue he doesn't have accountability for his own behaviors. He walks up. I was in the military. Before he's even sat down, he hasn't said hello. He hasn't said, and then this is a male thing right now, but it's also a female thing. It's a non-gendered thing. It's a human thing happening, but I can see where both sides are looking at each other going like, fuck you, no fuck you, no fuck you. And why? Because the leaders of the community aren't taking accountability for themselves. So nobody feels like they should. Nobody feels like they have to. Nobody feels accountable to anything. Yes, yeah, it is very prevalent. His group is not the only one. It's a matter of acolytes. It's a matter of believers. It's a matter of those subsets. It's not all. I mean, because I know a lot of people that just kind of watch, and maybe don't get it, or they only watch one channel and they don't see the Taliban headquarters or highlights, or they don't see Destiny After Dark, or they don't see all the other stuff that's cut for those other subsets sending a message to the other people that's saying something different, like all of the anti-Muslim rhetoric he just put out that literally, truly, that guy's going to get hurt. I'm sorry. You can't say that about that community. You can't say those things about that community and not have somebody throw an egg at you or something. Or a pie or something. And I'm not telling people to, by any means. Please don't misunderstand that. I'm talking about the fact that reality is you can't be disingenuous and unaccountable for your behaviors and expect that there's not going to be some fucking outcome. Just like me. Not only do I know that there's an outcome in general, but I expect it. Why? You might be wondering. I'll tell you. Because I take routes. Yes, what this is called is stochastic terrorism. They did a whole thing on it a couple weeks ago, both he and Vosh. And if you don't recognize that those tempos, pacings, scripting, and concepts, and by scripting, I don't mean we're sitting here reading a script. No, they're talking like I am. They're being natural, but they all share in the background on Discord what they're going to do, what they're focusing on, share their guests, share their topics, so everybody can seem like they're moving in order. And so it all makes cogent sense because it's show. It's a show. It's not just the person sitting on camera sharing their life. Even when it is, it's a show. And people forget that, and I've come to realize that there's a generation that doesn't know the difference. And when they say, well, I think it's... No. You don't need to think. It's a show. No matter what you may say, it's a show. He's a showman. And you should be questioning every fucking word he says, just like me. Every word. Just like me. Because the biasing here, I don't know if this dude checks his biases, because I've heard him, and I have 32 hours currently, 32 hours of clips. 32 hours of clips of a very long history. Yeah. Of him contradicting himself over and over and over, calling himself a liar, calling himself a drug addict, calling himself a repeat abuser, calling himself many, many things. And as you know, I have rules about how I listen to people. I listen to people still like my actor self as a youth. I'm not an actor anymore, but I guess I am, kind of. I got long arms, so, you know. Crazy, wacky, long arm waving man. I listen to what the character says about themselves. I listen, and let me go back. I listen to what the human says about themselves. I listen to what other humans say about that human. I notice what the world does in reaction to that human. And then I take the fourth wall point of view. And the fourth wall is called the God's eye. And it's something that you have to be trained or practice to do. By the way, meditation helps. But really, truly, it's one of these actor practices that, you know, most people may not be aware of. And that's okay. You don't have to be aware of that. So I'm going to teach you now. The idea is that you can see yourself from the other side of the camera. Not just from the outside of the world, but the other side of the camera, or the God's eye, or up above there. Or see yourself from the corner over here. I'm sorry, the fashion shot angle on this one is just killing me, so I'm going to keep it that way from now on. Thanks, guys. All right, I think it's working. Yeah, so the viewpoint of oneself can be seen from our quote-unquote third eye, but forget that hoo-ha. That's a thing. That is a thing. So I'm not going to undermine that, but I will talk about this, is to see ourselves from a floating point that's not directly on top of us, that's not directly next to us, is important, because then we can notice our own actions, our own tics, our own behaviors, how we hold our cards out to the audience, that our friends might not tell us because they don't want to hurt us, that our enemies might not tell us because they want to hold it against us as a leverage, or many things, honestly, many things, many reasons. And this whole time I've been widening the wrong window, so the little blue man has gotten bigger, but that's okay. And Abba7 says, I just want the complete truth because I want to be set free. Sometimes the truth hurts, and I'm okay with that, so I can make a more well-informed decision. And man, there is just nothing, you know. And I don't know if Abba. And then, by the way, I don't mean man as in I'm talking. That's a
hardcore. Break it down, break it down, break it down.
That gets 3 break it down and all 3 air horns. Because that's the truth. That's how I live. That's how I live too. That's actually why we get along. I think it's because there's yeah. If only we could on a regular, and it's going to take all of us one seed at a time, one flower at a time, spreading the concept, spreading the thought, mirroring each other, as I do, to be comprehensively empathetic and allow for the accountability to be portrayed without fear of having that accountability. Because that's what a lot of these issues really are, is that, you know, there's so much dogpiling, so much attempt to hurt people's whole lives for just being accountable. My pleasure, 7. I mean, honestly, you are one of the most wonderful guest examples of somebody who is learning like I am, you know, and I really appreciate that you're here and that we found each other in this. And I anybody who's in the chat right now, I mean, like, obviously, you're not lurking, and I appreciate you for that. And it's a big deal to me because, you know, I'm not a big page. I don't know if I'll ever be a big page. I really just am happy that we found a couple people that are like minds, that care about kind humans, that we can talk together and see just the avarice, the lack of sensitivity to others, the lack of care that comes from somebody who would search out when they're very wealthy. This person has a lot of money, quantifiably, and yet they still need to seek out their following on Discord to collect the evidence that they say is just self-evident over and over again, that there hasn't been a lawsuit filed, even though 5 weeks ago I heard there was going to be a lawsuit filed and a cease and desist. No cease and desist was had. And by the way, a personal written message, that's not a real cease and desist. You're talking about a legal matter. I mean, you can tell someone cease and desist, and that's fine, but that doesn't really actually mean anything, folks. That's a situation where you go, oh, bless, I upset you. Oh, bless. That means that you're actually having effect, because the more upset this person is, the more they care about what you're saying. The more they care about what you're saying, the more likely that it's true. Now, there are times when you want to defend yourself, but the fact is, it only would have taken one time of defending himself 4 months ago, and he would have let it go. And he could have rolled on, but he's given it fuel, which led me to believe initially that he was propagating it. We can spread the truth, Bridget. If the actors of spreading lies can do it, we can spread... Oh, let me read this correctly. We can spread the truth, Bridget. And I agree. And I know what Bridget's saying, though. And I wouldn't take it away from her to the admission and the accountability of the situation that it is a tough fight that we have together. And Bridget's here because, well, she's definitely part of the fight on multiple platforms. So and watch out! She got that superpower. And she does. She's the only ultimate mod. She makes Gale at night look like a little wimpy booyah. Anyways, which we all know that she is, because anybody who just like makes up characters to go play them on other platforms because she can't be herself, unlike the rest of us who are just like right here with each other, being each other. Come on. Anyways, accountability, and that's what it kind of comes down to over and over. And why do I keep adjusting the wrong screen? I don't know. But, let me go here, and let me move that up. Yep, little man on the screen. Let's move him over so you can really get an idea of the anger and the angst in his little blue head. All right. The internet has given these figures unbelievable power. Yes. And we can spread and pollinate the complete truth. I didn't finish off a statement, but yes, we can. That's us. The internet is a huge facet of popular culture, Halita. That is absolutely correct. I agree with you 100%. And we are seeing quantifiably, again, I love that word because it's so true. We can see in the information. We can see in the statistics. We can see in the representations on the playgrounds and the words that are being used that are then getting mirrored by marketing companies and the platforms that are being focused on to sell concepts, games, ideologies. We can pay attention to that and be aware of it and not be crazy for, noticing what's going the fuck on in front of our eyes. Isn't that amazing? We notice that these things are happening. But someone like, this, who's in a little box, mental prison, right over here. Well, I would believe that they might not want you to know that because that would be counter to their brand, right? That would be counter to Yes, actually, you just nailed it on the head, Ava. A counter-defense and counter-strike against workers of toxic lies. Bridget, amen. Yes, absolutely. That's what I hope we all are. And I don't want to make it seem like we're social justice warriors. I think that's a simplification. And, I'm going to pull it up so we can get a clear look. I'm going to pull the title card up just so we can get a clear look at the little blue man in the box, because this is where he sits. This is where he talks to our children. This is where he talks to our friends. This is where he talks to the public at large. This is where he talks to his Discord. Actually, his Discord is up here. His little bubbles are up here. There are people just hanging out waiting in the FK just to come up and talk to him for hours. I heard one guy say, I've been waiting for 4 hours just to talk to him, just to bring him information. So if you believe that those people don't have a vested interest in pressing this person, that he doesn't have a power platform, well, then maybe you're not getting the point, like many of them don't. They only hear the points they want to hear. They don't include anything that isn't language, that doesn't include the in-speak, which is another thing I point out, which is these folks are starting to act, and this isn't just this group, but many groups are starting to act like cult behavior groups. Religion is not associated only with cults. They can be cult of personality. As those of us in rock and roll use this, yes, they do think he's big-brained, but if you listen to the arguments and you have 32 hours of contradicting information of his arguments going all over the place over time, that's not learning. That's convenience of the moment. He's just a cynic who uses whatever he can at his disposal to fight an argument because he, although he may not be a narcissist, he does use sign language. And sign language, that terminology, by the way, was absconded with by, 4 hours? No, Wayward. I have 32 hours of clips, minute or two apiece. Yeah, a minute or two apiece, and I have 32 hours of him contradicting himself over and over and over and over. And yet this person would really have the balls or cognitive dissonance to be attacking somebody on their platform, about their platform. It's insane to me. That's like me telling somebody, oh no, I'm totally serious about everything. I can imagine why you might want to discount any of my ideas. But see, I do that on purpose. I'm doing the opposite of what this person is doing on purpose. And then on Sundays, yes, I'm mocking it and deprogramming it with positive messages, just like I am here. Look, we don't have to be this way. It's really simple stuff, really, but it takes practice, and it takes not listening to or taking someone like this seriously, like as if this is just normal. It's not normal. It's not normal at all. Why is it not normal? Because it's disingenuous, and it's not normal to not recognize that it's show. If you see this as anything but show, you're confused. Because reality TV has gotten people confused as to what is real and what is not. And I'm going to show you just an example of that. If you didn't know that I had a chair with a magic cover, you'd think I'd sit in thin air. But let's talk about it. You think that, sorry, Pierre. I am just running over Pierre all day today. You'd think that I would just have this magic wall. And how could I possibly do this magic wall? Oh my God, I'm disappearing now. Because you can't tell the difference. But that's, if I let you believe that, that'd be me not being accountable. I even realized that people thought I had a speaker in the room or something and that I didn't have it in here. It's show, but it's real. It's earnest, but it's show. Because would you want to watch me if I was just talking like this all the time, like I do on the phone? I'm just me not doing the voice. And me's less interesting. So if you think that he's being him, I'd say you're mistaken. Because the show is a show! And in my case, I'm here to interject myself into a conversation that nobody asked me to be a part of, which I tell people to look up about. But that means more than that, because I want accountability from the get-go, for myself first, for others second, and for the world foremost. And notice I skipped 3. Because 3, that's you, them, and me. It makes we. And by the way, this is we. It's a 3. And we put them together. We're a block that blocks me out and blocks out the us as we. But when somebody wants to be a singular, oh my God, haters gonna hate. Guess what starts to happen? Oh, goodness me. Fuck you when you get that singular. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's my bias. But I'm accountable for my bias. I'll tell you straightforward. And, people have been on me this past week because I have not only exposed my own biases, but I've also exposed others. And boy, that's painful for folks. And how do I do that? Well, I draw them out. Because the easiest way to draw people out is to point out or to mirror their behaviors. Or to just do exactly what, and by mirroring, I do mean doing exactly what they're doing from the opposite position. They don't even recognize it. They get into cognitive dissonance, and when people do that without going, oh, are you fucking with me? When they never recognize it, or hear themselves in you, you know immediately it's a litmus test. Sorry. Some of us use actual critical judgment and comprehension to test the waters of other humans. And that's more acceptable than manipulating a following to chase after someone who essentially you wouldn't be concerned about if they're not as powerful as you're saying they are, because you're saying they're not powerful, that they're just random, they couldn't affect you, but that they are affecting you. Wow. And if you have to gather this information without it being self-apparent in a couple of easy snippets, my friend, I can tell you this from experience, you're going to have a very hard time when it comes to the 32 hours of competitive, contradictory, and self-admissions that are going to be presented as a gift to those who would have to defend themselves against a negative. Because you don't have any evidence other than this person self-admitting that they're accountable for themselves. And that's going to be a problem for you, which is part of this cognitive dissonance that I can't wait to see play out. Because only a court of law or an attorney having a private conversation with a lug nut who's a little wacky can fix these things where they go, are you sure you want to do that? This seems like a I wouldn't advise you to taking this route. I wouldn't advise you, sir. You have 10 hours a day for the past 10 years of information available. And you have a lot of background. And everybody knows that the things that happened this last year are not the first time we've all seen them. So this is pretty incredulous on your part and cynical. And also defaming when you talk about the stalking behaviors that you're then setting upon a stranger, which was observable in the chat on another show, and it was observable in the fact that Brian got a phone call from either you or your representative during the show. So, sir, if you are actually, meanwhile, that would be one thing if the other person, Law, had been mentioning your name, but they weren't, and specifically they'd kept themselves anonymous to the fact that they were associated to you, and nobody knew until you called or somebody else called Brian, and Brian was shocked, and I think it was actually you. So I would wonder, how did you get Brian's number? Because he doesn't know you. He said he didn't know you. He said he didn't know anything about the scenario. How'd you get the number? Why would you call if you're not concerned, if it's not that big a deal? If it's actually something that's not true, why would you be concerned? Well, let's
Darius and irrelevant streams for my shit until they're finished with that arc, or until she's made false rape accusations against them or whatever. And then
okay, so now he's fine. Talking about lack of accountability. So now he's pissed about the other people that are willing to do articles and try to find another side of this. They cannot sleep because of that. Even after the fact of weeks, and sometimes because they got counter-striked with facts, truths, and receipts. Yeah, I don't know what these people are thinking. That all he has is his platform to spin on. And I bring up the fact again, no counter-suit, no lawsuit, no proper cease and desist has been filed in Dade, Miami, nor in Los Angeles County, nor in Santa Barbara County, nor in Ventura County, nor in San Bernardino, nor San Diego. This has been months. I could easily say that he's complicit in allowing this because it's been months. So if he's just building the information now when it was publicly available then, legitimacy is in interest and timeliness. And that will come to bear in the situation. But I would also dare to say that it is most important in the observation of whether or not somebody is actually Mickey freaking accountable at all. And let me take a moment, shall we? I think I need to think about that just for a second, because, really? Is that hard to, do we not understand that shit? Is that out the window now? Is that a whole group of people that don't realize that when you put on a show like, I'm not worried, it's not worried, go get them, go get them, that maybe, here, let's get back to there. It's not a corner anymore, right? It's now a glamour shot. Yeah, I'm gonna do a whole, definitely the cards are gonna come up for the next week, but gotta do it with a little humor or else the algo catches up to you, right? Seriously, and I don't even know where to look on this one right now, so excuse me, I apologize. Anyhow, my arms. If you haven't noticed, I don't have my holder any longer. I may have to change some of the perspective because I don't have my ability to hold my arm up on a got a little stand up here that I normally put my hand up on, so I'm gonna have to work on that one. Anyways. Oh, thank you, Wayward. Here, I'll go back to the. Make sure to clip. Sorry, I could play with that one all day. I will too, and just the whole show gets derailed. I'm just doing glamour shots. Awkward glamour shots. This is the home of the awkward. I believe in you. I do. Because I believe that we can change the world one seat at a time. There's 7 of us here right now, 8 of us. There's probably been like 20 through the chat, through the course of the past hour and a half, 2 hours. And I appreciate every single one of you, even if you're only here for a couple minutes. I believe it's important that we share this because we can't let motherfuckers like that decide for others what truth is anymore. We can't let that happen because we're starting to see the rabbit hole. And I hate to use that term, but the Arbit Zero. Use the Arbit Zero because also the algorithm recognizes the other, and that's how we get squashed in the algorithm and get shadow banned. Shadow banning is, by the way, not what they call in the chat. That's a different kind of ban, where you think you're being seen but you're not. No. Shadow banning is when the algorithm doesn't propagate any of your connections because you've used a couple terms that it didn't like, basically, or that are on the blacklist. And basically, you'll get pushed off to the side. And they'll drop subs on you, too. I've seen all kinds of wild shit. And many people have experienced this. So it's not anecdotal, unfortunately. In any case, accountability is how we are perceived in our actions, as well as how we perceive ourselves for our actions. That's part of it. But it's also, it's a humility. Being able to say that we're fallible, so we're going to fix what we did wrong, or we're going to recognize what we did wrong, or we're going to take part in something that, oh yes, keep hitting the like button, and come on, subscribers, I'm down. Let's get it up the road to 1,000. I'm down for that. If I can make money on the channel, I'd actually probably give to there's a wonderful children's shelter and after-school daycare program right down the street from me that takes anonymous. It's basically just it's a very little place. It's like what do they call them? A manufactured building. It's just up on blocks, but it's got a beautiful playground, and it's completely funded by a very, very tiny community of 1,800 people. By local funds and anonymous donations. And so if I do start making money, especially on Sunday, for the Ministry of the Flying Pig, I will make money off of merch when I start that, because I got some really funny ideas for merch that I'm not gonna miss that one. Come on, I'm gonna make money off my marketing ideas, because that's what I do. But the truth is if I start making money on this, I would make it a 501c or something of that nature. And I believe that I believe that if we really believe ourselves, making wealth is learning. Making wealth is friendships. Making wealth is not being alone when you're dying. And I hate to be extreme, but I think that that's important. I think when you look around at that last moment and you see your family and your friends and your acquaintances and your animals and the world around you that you helped build, that you helped care for, that you helped appreciate, and it's there with you at the moment that you slip past this mortal coil, well, that's when we must give ourselves pause. As Shakespeare said, whomsoever shall bear the whipson's corns of time, the oppressor's wrongs, the pangs or despised love. Because life is tough enough to not have accountability for yourself and others, because it makes the world a better place. And not
he said that you said something to the whatever people about him. The whatever people? Brian.
So what are we playing right here?
Asked me why
the
people.
Gold Rush
why
Wayward.
People
Yes, that's correct.
Me in his chat.
You can't eat gold. So do you understand that there's some leaked conversation that he has recorded that he's playing right now?
And then
you can't
Brian
hear the
was
other
like, okay,
person.
do you not want me to have
so,
him on? And I was
although that there's two people in a Discord chat, if it's in the private chat and she's in California and the other person is not in California and the other person isn't recording themselves and they're only recording her, that's first person, and that actually breaks the law because they don't have approval for that if it's not an interview. Now, I don't know the full sum of this yet, and I'm going to look into it, trust me. But I believe there might be some criminal activity here. Yeah, because I'm looking at the full screen, and let me pull this forward so that you can see this as well as I. Because I can see the unfettered screen, the unedited screen, the screen that you can't see. And I'm going to turn off the filter so you can see, one, how fancy I am. And it's called chroma key. You're turning off the chroma key. Now, boom! Oh, my. By the way, game in the middle, man in the box. Now, if you've ever watched the show, you'll recognize that the game is actually not this big. I've stretched it out so that you can see things more clearly. Yes. Yes, indeed. And one of the things to keep in mind is that the little man in the box plays a game every single day. And these games are for average 8 to 24-year-olds. That's who the marketing is. But if you look at who designs the games, and who sells the games, and who markets the games, and who pays him to market the games and play them, because if you think he's just naturally playing those games every day on stream, and that rich, well, yeah, you'd be surprised at how little people actually make off of their streams. And really, it's about the advertising, and the marketing, and the product placement. But then you'd have to look at what other products these people make and what associations they have and find out that, oh my goodness, no wonder you might have a great relationship with Trainwreck because this looks a lot like technology used by Kick. And boy, isn't Kick mostly gambling? Aren't those games gambling games? Isn't your good homie Zerka that you got involved with Trainwreck? So you actually are the direct link between a gambling company and Zerka and your games? Huh. I mean, I'm not saying that there could be possibly, oh yeah, he loves his games. He does love his games. But if you don't know that he's being paid to play the games, you'd think he's just playing it because he loves them. But you can see him asking the perpetrators, the marketing firms, the developers for the updates for the next levels, and then he'll play levels over again. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I misread you. Yes, he does love his games. And the game is the arc. But that arc is disingenuous. Because most people don't realize that the arc is actually being played out. Like anybody who writes a show. And there's no script on the daily because it's real TV. But there is a script in the background that says these things are going to generally happen. These people are going to show up. This could happen. And the psychology. Oh yes, gambling games are very addictive. And so are these games. And there are many things in common with them. But that's another show that I will go into in the future, and I'm building that one up because I didn't want to come at that half-cocked, or quarter-cocked, or limp-wristed, or any of that shit. I want to come in with a big old blue pill, ramming my dong onto the screen like bonk, 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 and be just full tilt. That's right. Actually, let me do that sound again. Hold on. It should be like this. That's what it's going to be like. Or actually, here, I got you. Hold on a second.
Damn. Break it down.
There we go. That's what it's going to be like. Because it's going to be very embarrassing for this person when I do my 3-part series. Very embarrassing. I don't even care if nobody sees it because it's going to get propagated into a million little clips. Yeah. And it's going to be bad. Very bad. For some people who might have you believe that they're accountable when they say nothing accountable. When they don't follow their own words or rules. Full cocked all the way. Just blow it up. If I had a little pump on the side, I'd be like, that's right. Because I'm imperfect. I'm fallible. I'll tell you all day. But I've achieved a lot of great shit in real life. Not sitting behind a screen. I'm only here because I want to undo the things that are happening because of people like him. And he's not the only one. There's lots of them. He's just got a little kingdom. I call it cringe kingdom because it is. It's just all cringe. It's all very sad. It's people that are very talented and very smart and very intuitive and very empathetic and have a lot of emotional spirit and intellect, but it's all being driven in very many, what's the word for it? Oh yeah, unaccountable ways. Because nobody wants to be accountable for themselves. They want to be accountable for others. Because that's what gives them validity. And the bag, and the tribe. So, let's change up the music a little, shall we? You ready for the drop? We'll switch the drop. I think that's working. I feel that groove. Yeah, this is kind of good. It's a little wacky. That's definitely suggestive of what we're about to go forward in. Because it gets a little wackier. Trust me, it gets wackier.
Look, guys, this woman said that her DoorDash never arrived after I delivered it to the hospital.
And by the way,
in front of cameras, so you
Digital
know I
Derek,
have to go back.
I've known this guy for years, and I come up, I'm like, oh my god, it's Derek. What is he doing? Oh my god, he's got 1 million followers.
On the clock.
What the hey?
Okay.
Musician, orgone, musician, amazing. Go check it out. If he's still in Orgone, I think he's still in Orgone, isn't he?
Do you know what office you're looking?
There she is.
By the way, I wanted you to know, I gave that fool, 48 seconds of time and smashed him. Imagine 32 hours. Yeah. 48 seconds, so that's all it took. Yeah, it should be pretty cringy. And not for me. But hey, you know, people will believe what they want to believe because they want to believe it when they're, full tilt into it. Oh my god, I'm drinking out of a nothing cup. I'm really enjoying the new tech. Oh my gosh, can you see the coffee inside? Or is that the... Oh no, I'm drinking things in the background. Drink it up. Drink it up, drinky. Okay, now I can bring my signifier down, my little icon. The icon. Let me bring the icon down. Hold on a second. Somewhere in here. Call-in line is open if you want to talk shit to me, or if you just want to say hello, or if you want to share. I will derail a show for you. Oh, by the way, absolutely and totally, at all times, derail for the audience, because that's what matters. Yep. Okay. And here we go. Sorry. Oh, you know what? Let me turn back on. I don't know what I'm thinking. I like vibe. So, yeah. Oh, too much vibe. Way too much vibe. I can't see the picture anymore. Come back, vibe. Is that true? Is that true? Vibe? Oh, there we go. Oh, because I got to pull it. Oh, I'm sorry. My tech is out of control right now. There we go. Yep. There it is. Sorry, folks. Out of control. My tech is out of control. Hold on a second. My tech is out of control. I don't even know where to look with this one. It's so big, so fucked up. I'll get used to it. Anyhow. Oh, hey! So you know what? I'm gonna wrap this up really quickly. 2 hours, 13 minutes. It's longer than I normally go. Right now, I'm trying to keep it quick. So yes, thank you for bringing that.
You didn't get the DoorDash order?
Yep. Thank you, Bridget. I appreciate you being here.
You didn't get the DoorDash
I'll be over there in a minute. O'Shea Jackson, take him. Speaking of lack of accountability.
She even saw you with the food. I mean, you guys have cameras here. You said the order never arrived. What do you mean? So, why does it say that the customer says the order never arrived?
By the way, I just want you to note the age, the view of this person, and how this person has no accountability in their face. She's going to try to get out of it. And most of this behavior, farewell, Wayward. I'll see you soon. Thank you for being here. She basically is stuck. She's caught. And he and I have the same look on our face. So, what is this about? It's about learned behavior. It's about the fact that, oh, thank you. Don't worry. Amen. Amen. Yes, indeed, Abba. And by the way, I understand if you got to get over to Mike, it's totally understandable. We can't do 2 windows. I actually, although I know most people have a hard time with that, I watch like 6 at once. So, I'm often like, what's the matter? I can totally see everything. Anyhow, I'm sharing this and I'm going to wrap it up because I'm also, I want to go watch Mike too. So, it's my pastime. And in closing, I'm sharing this because of the lack of accountability. That's learned behavior. Oh my God, shock. And let me just zoom in on her face here so you can see the look in her eye. So she's basically faking getting, she called Uber Eats or whatever and she said, I didn't get my food. And dude is basically screwed. But look at the shock in her face because she's having to have accountability. And this is the look I want you to walk away with. And I don't really need to go into the story. You can look at this yourself. This is called DoorDasher pulls back up when customer reports order missing. That's the look on the face of those who are unaccountable when you confront them with their accountability. They search their mind. There's no lying. Their face goes dead because they're caught. And so I'm going to play a little more, and then I'm going to head over to
my job on the line. Didn't do anything. Okay. Well,
I didn't do anything. Okay, so it's a deflection about what are you talking about? Didn't do anything. A normal person would say, well, I'm sorry, what happened? Oh my goodness, this must have been a mistake. How can we fix it? A person who's deflecting, all of the body language becomes tight. She becomes non-responsive. You can see the fear in her eye.
The customer says the order never arrived and I got a contract violation. Gotcha. I'm an independent contractor.
She rolls her eyes. In other words, she's just said what she thinks. Yeah, that would be super embarrassing. Lying for free food. And this is, right on, Yeshua. I appreciate you, 7. Woo-hoo! Thank you very much. Yeah, it's not much longer. I'm going to share this just a little bit further because you don't even need to know what happened at the end of the story. You can look for yourself. But yes, this is embarrassing for her because she got caught and was nothing less than a juvenile. Don't buy magic chairs from Amazon. That's all I'm saying. Spend the money on the real thing. Go all the way to Hogwarts. Just not worth it when you don't. Anyways, because it's embarrassing. And your magic chair falls apart on stream. It's just not worth it. Anyway. But the look on her face is that of a 4-year-old. And then we recognize that look because it's something it's carried with us. It is one of those things that is part of our natural responses. And when you see someone regress in their behaviors, in their face, you can tell that you've hit a nerve. And that's important because accountability is a nerve. Accountability is an area in our brain that is called empathy. It's an area that allows us, and it's not the area of the brain that's called empathy, it's the action in the area of the brain to have empathy for others, which allows us to recognize our faults and become accountable for our actions. Now, either you access those or you don't. And it's the character that you have, and the character you express, and the character that's seen, and the character that's observed. Different than just being seen or responded to. No, it's observed. That people remember. And you can make a lot of effed up shit in your life. But if you're accountable for that effed up shit and you go, man, I effed up and sometimes I'm fucking fucked up and sometimes I did some stupid shit but I keep trying to be better. You know what? I trust that person way more than somebody who goes, I've never done anything wrong. Nobody's done anything wrong. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. Why? Because as Shakespeare once said, me doth thinks they do protest too much. And I'm gonna roll this just a little bit further, but
It's just crazy because when you look at her energy, bro, it's like, look how fucking defensive it is.
straight up, Derek.
If this was really a mistake, her energy would have been like, oh, like, this happened to you, oh, let me help you out. It would have been a helpful energy. That's not what we're seeing here. It's just completely defensive. She knows what type of time she's on, and this is gonna be interesting.
To call DoorDash support off your phone because I wasn't the one that said the order never arrived. It's an on your side of things.
So she's already bothered.
It doesn't just randomly.
She doesn't want to do anything about it because then she'd have to pay for her food.
DoorDash support directly to say that the order never arrived.
Okay. It's a shared account, so it might be.
Okay, so it's a shared account, no accountability. It's something else. It's someone else. It's something to say. You hear anything in common? I don't even need to play much. There's no accountability. And accountability isn't just saying you're wrong, it's accepting that something could be wrong. Well, that must be a mistake. Can we take a look? Oh, yeah, let me fix it for you. I've got concern for it. I have empathy for the situation, or I have sympathy. And I'm accountable to whatever. You, me, whatever the thing is, I'm involved. Yes, we should be terrified because, and that is the correct answer, terror. Terrifying. Because this is not just psychopathic behavior or sociopathic behavior. This is learned cognitive dissonance portrayed amongst those who would have you believe that they are not just leaders, but that something.
It's insane to me that, like, somebody that's hurling around false accusations to multiple people, by the way, arguably her worst accusation wasn't even against me, it was against Hassan.
Or someone else.
I don't want to be involved in promoting
suddenly
anybody.
Concerned about.
Like, the fact that she's literally getting onto podcasts because she's leached popularity off of my platform and then saying God knows what to
insult,
these people. Because I don't know if she's like
guilt.
telling the because she's talking shit because I asked the whatever podcast people. She's telling them about our
guilt,
history and shit.
Insult.
I don't want to be involved in promoting anything
Need
or
to be
anybody
right.
peripheral to her that's like hosting her. I think I have a right to do it. I think that's okay. So I'm probably unlisting like Darius and irrelevant streams from my shit until they're finished with that arc.
And then insult and fear tactic by telling the audience that he's going to cut off a pair of people until they're done with their own research. Thank you very much, Abba. And this does bring me to the end of my show today. So come on, guys, ladies, folks, ladies and gentlemen, hobos and trans, cross-eyed mosquitoes, and bulligan ants, come to the corner. Let's take a look at the fashion shot for a second, like the glamour shot, right? So, what did we learn today? Well, we learned that accountability is what we do for others and what we do for ourselves first. Accountability is humility and the sense that we can fuck up and then saying something about it and being good to that. What else did we learn? Well, we learned that I have big thumbs and would totally embarrass myself and trying to make someone a mod that I like and then end up kicking them off my platform inadvertently, and I hope they come back. That's also pretty messed up, but I'm trying to take accountability for it. And that's accountability in action, I believe, because I did make them a mod. And I'm really actually embarrassed and kind of sad about that because I like that person. So that's accountability there. In action, I believe. And as an expression of concern. What else did we learn? Well, I think that we learned that sometimes people with power may mistake their power for righteousness. And that they can do no wrong simply because they have that platform, when in actuality, I would argue that point altogether. As a matter of fact, I'd say they have more reason to be accountable for their words and actions because they can be held against them just in case there's 32 hours of contradicting information of 1 minute to 2 minute clips. They can be held and used against them because they are their own words, admitting, self-admitting to all sorts of horrible behaviors, contradicting themselves, and doing much worse than just saying that somebody feels a certain way about their own experiences. Yeah, that would be concerning, and that's something we learned today, even though I learned that quite a while ago. What else? Oh yeah, we learned that people who are self-admitted are more reliable, even if they're fucked, than people who are not self-admitted, because the self-admitted people are unreliable, untrustworthy, and are going to lie by omission, which is the state of the affairs. I'd also say what we learned is that groups who are like acolytes, well, they're willing to fight against the indefensible. They're willing to stand up just because they want some kind of validity that is bestowed upon them into a private environment. And how do we learn that? Thank you very much, Wayward Aesthetic. I really appreciate you. I appreciate you saying that, and I appreciate that concept and thought. I work hard on this, and I am often seen in my car driving around or walking around the block talking to myself, working out these scriptings in my head and these little nomenclatures and lines, you know, because it does take some kind of scripting. I'm talking to the camera, but if you think that I haven't been working in the mirror or talking these things out, it means a lot to me, so thank you. I do work hard. But as I wrap it up, and I bring it down to this, that each of us is responsible and accountable for what we say and do, for our associations, for our words, for our behaviors. And it takes a humble mind and a humble spirit that won't use their platform as a way to stalk, chase, witch hunt, dogpile, or embarrass, or slander, or defame, or to abuse through terror, stochastically so, using your words. No, I don't do that personally, because I'm accountable for my beliefs and actions, and I come and do that on my own. I show up, I knock on your door, I come right into your belly, and I play music at all hours of the night when there's nobody there, just to show you that I can come right up in it, get all up in your belly, and stare you in the face while you ignore me, because you don't want me to speak truth to that power. No. As a matter of fact, you want to betray that ability and the reality, because if you're to be compared to someone like me, and I'm talking to one person in particular, it's going to start to look like maybe you aren't what you seem. That in the real world, some of us have decades of competing, completing, and excelling, while you were sitting in a chair playing video games, which is why I'm saying, folks, it's best for all of us to be accountable for each other. Be accountable for, the people that get left behind, the people that are unfriended, the people who really may just not be understanding that they're being utilized as a tool for somebody else, just like utilizing your fans to collect information that you were supposed to have months and months ago and, provide to a lawsuit or cease and desist that you claim might have happened months and months ago, even though it's happening now. But it hasn't yet. So I'm still confused. Make it make sense. Okay, I'll make it make sense for you, says Aaron to himself in the third person. Weird. Let's come back out of the glamour shot. Look, if we're to live in harmony, we have to stamp out those, or at least call out and shame those, who are going to utilize their platforms and their behaviors and ignore their own egregious stuff. It's up to us as the flowers who seed the world with positivity, who pollinate the bees who buzz around. And most importantly, when you and I, us together, thank you. And I appreciate you, Abba. I appreciate the audience, and we're stronger together, even though we are unified by our individuality. I won't ever take away from you and your differences, but I will directly and absolutely face forward tell those that would put us all into mental prisons so that they can have a nicer car or a nicer life, or to think less than others and have an excuse to do so in their own minds. Yes, indeed, Wayward Aesthetic, you are absolutely correct about that, and those of us who do concerts know, and we have a rule, don't fuck the front row. Why? Because the fanatics are in the front row. The presents come from the front row. When you think about the Discord servers, go right up there in the front row. That's the way I see it. So when they come attacking and ignoring any logic or start attacking someone like Lav, who has told them all at face value, that's right, you just don't believe anything, so I'm just going to go with it and say, live, laugh, lie. And I've been keeping this here, and I asked her, and I said, can I quote you? And she said, yes, you can. And she understood why I was asking her that, because she's much smarter than most of the rest of them. She's comprehensively just more capable. She's emotionally more intellectual. And she's definitely more astute on the wider frame of things, whether she's a liar or not about stuff. You can't take away the reality when it's reality, no matter how hard you try. You can try to look at every other thing, but if you're not looking at the topic and you're looking at the person and trying to devolve the person because of the topic, then that speaks volumes about the behavior. The behavior is not accountable to the topic or the reasoning or the agenda. And it's definitely not accountable to egregious, terrible behavior by someone who claims that they're a leader. And trust me, he claims it, just not on the main channel. You have to watch the other cuts that apparently don't have any association directly when I've spoken directly to the editor on 2 different channels. So yeah, there's some questions about accountability. But at the end of the day, it's up to us to uphold it, to stand next to one another. And damn cheap Amazon magic chairs, I'm telling you. You're gonna have to staple that shit in. But it's such a nice chair. Anyway, I appreciate you. And I want to remind you that this mental prison is something we build for ourselves. That cult behavior is because folks want to be included. Folks want to be seen as the same. Folks want to know that they're part of something. And that's okay. It's really okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Religion is a cult. Universities are cults. D&D playing can be a cult. LARPing is a cult. Video game playing is a cult. Why? Because they're cults of personality. Going to a concert is a cult of personality. Where it turns into a problem is when people start thinking monoclastically and stop being accountable and stop holding their leaders accountable. We expect it in all of society, and these same people creating cancel culture and utilizing it as a tool in the quote-unquote war rooms of their discords to hurt other people. But when it comes to holding those that they would be acolyte to accountable, my friends, I can guarantee you, you know what they're not doing? You know what I'm going to say. They need a moment to look up. Thank you so much for joining us, me, for this show. Look Up. I do episodes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I do a late night Twitch dance party where you can just watch the visuals, and I add some extra stuff to that, a couple more layers, after hours. And it's midnight to 2 a.m. generally on Twitch. You can find me at AronMSound. Make sure to support, like, and subscribe. I'm going over to AdMikeTV to watch the show right now about O'Shea Duke Jackson. Let's take down the grifters. But I've been excited. I put a bid on this one. And yeah, there's lots of artists, lots of content creators that are very accountable, very reliable, and good people. And I say kind people should win. But we can only win in the world by spreading the message of love, care, and kindness, and empathy, because the mental prison will keep you inside it, just like the obelisk will have you under its shadow. Don't forget, folks, at the end of the day, all I can ask you to do is look up. Peace be to you. Cheers. Thanks for being here. I'm AronMSound. Look up.